Chapter 1022. Disqualification. Ling Dozi's expression was cold. This was mainly because they were in the lobby of the hotel. If he really killed the people from the Quick Blade sect in Yozhuang, he would dirty the hotel. If they were outside, with Ling Dozi's ruthless character, he would have already attacked. People from Yozhuang and the Quick Blade sect, listen up. Hurry up and get out of here. You will be disqualified from participating in this martial arts circle convention. Ling Dozi roared loudly. Sighs came from the crowd. The martial arts circle convention was held once every 5 years. All the major sects in the outer martial arts world were waiting for this convention to show off their skills. Now, Ling Dozi's words completely sentenced the Quick Blade sect and Yozhuang to death. Elder Black and the Quick Blade sect's elders' faces were ashen. Their intestines were green with regret. They also had some resentment in their hearts. They felt that Ling Dozi's way of handling things was too tyrannical. However, under the might of the Stars sect and Ling Dozi, the two elders didn't even dare to let out a fart. They believed that if they didn't agree, Ling Dozi would immediately kill them. Thank you, Alliance Master Ling Dozi, for not killing us. Quick Blade sect's disciples, listen up. Return to the sect with me now. The Quick Blade sect's elder quickly made a decision. This was his only choice. The 8 disciples of the Quick Blade sect had already left with the elder. Seeing them walk out of the restaurant's entrance, many people sighed in their hearts. Everyone's gaze fell on Elder Black and the Yozhuang disciples. Elder Black was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. He had already decided to leave, but he was extremely unwilling. Originally, everyone was peacefully looking at the exhibits. It was because of Qin Feng that Yozhuang's qualification to participate in this martial arts circle convention was disqualified. Elder Black angrily glared at Qin Feng. Since then Yozhuang was chased away, Elder Black was prepared to drag someone down with him before he died. What do you mean? You don't want to leave? Ling Dozi's expression darkened. He suddenly glared coldly at Elder Black. Elder He was so scared that his entire body trembled. He said with a smile, Alliance Master Ling Dozi, please don't misunderstand. Our Ox Village will leave immediately. It's just that before we leave, we want to tell Alliance Master the cause of the incident. It's all because of that stinking brat that caused a misunderstanding between me and the Quick Blade sect's elder. I hope that sect leader Ling Dozi can chase that stinking brat away as well, so that he doesn't ruin the order of today's treasure inspection conference. Everyone looked in the direction Elder Black was pointing, and their gazes fell on Qin Feng. Qin Feng's lips curled into a cold smile. He looked at Elder Black and didn't say anything. Dongfang Qin Shui was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. It was clearly Elder Black who brought people to cause trouble for Qin Feng, but this old man still had the nerve to hit her. Everyone present shook their heads and sighed as they looked at Qin Feng. They could already guess what would happen to Qin Feng. It was clear that Ling Dozi would disqualify him from the martial arts circle convention, and he would be chased away along with the people from the Ox Village. Moreover, it seemed that the Black Elder of the Ox Village had a deep hatred for Qin Feng. After both sides were kicked out of the hotel, the people of the Ox Village would definitely take revenge on Qin Feng. Ling Dozi had long since looked at Qin Feng, and his expression immediately turned cold. The others didn't know Jing Shuai's true identity, but Ling Dozi was already certain that he was Qin Feng. Not long ago, Ling Dozi and sect leader Ling Tianhai had come up with a plan to deal with Qin Feng. They would pretend to not know Qin Feng first, and they would capture him after the treasure inspection conference was over. If they chased Qin Feng away now, then wouldn't Ling Dozi and the others' plan for tonight be foiled? Slap. Everyone was waiting for Ling Dozi to sentence Qin Feng to death, but they suddenly heard a muffled sound. Then, everyone was dumbstruck. They looked at the scene before them in disbelief. Ling Dozi actually sent Elder Black flying with a slap? Alliance leader Ling Dozi, why you? Big Brother Black Bull was so frightened that his legs trembled. He was dumbfounded by Ling Dozi's actions. Elder Black lay on the ground, and his face contorted in pain. However, he didn't dare to make a single sound. Ling Dozi's expression was ice-cold. He stared at Elder Black on the ground and roared. Do I need you to teach me how to do things? Hurry up and take your disciple and scram! Ling Dozi roared angrily, scaring everyone silly. Elder Black couldn't care less about the pain in his body. He hurriedly crawled up and ran out. The disciples of the Neo village also came to their senses. Their legs trembled as they followed Elder Black out of the hotel. The farce ended just like that. After Ling Dozi watched the people of the Neo village leave, he didn't look at Qin Feng again. He swaggered to the center of the hall. I've said before that tonight's treasure inspection conference will be hosted by our Star Sect. The Star Sect will protect everyone's personal and property safety. I don't want what happened just now to happen a second time. Otherwise, I'll kill without mercy. Ling Dozi's voice was cold, and it was like muffled thunder that struck everyone's hearts. Previously, Ling Dozi had said to kill without mercy, but he repeated it this time. Everyone believed that Ling Dozi would do what he said. After the incident with the Neo village and the Quick Blade sect, the scene of the treasure inspection conference became much quieter. Everyone looked at the treasures on the display racks in an orderly manner. Even when they saw some astonishing treasures, they could suppress their exclamations. They were deeply afraid that they would accidentally offend Ling Dozi. Under Ling Dozi's lead, the people from the Star Sect wandered around the Great Hall, maintaining order at all times. Ling Dozi and the two elders seemed to be patrolling absent-mindedly, but their gazes would occasionally glance at Qin Feng. Qin Feng stood calmly in the crowd. He still hadn't found the Saint Soul Stone, so he wasn't interested in the other treasures at all. Dongfang Qingshui stood beside Qin Feng. She was still a little scared after what happened just now. Dongfang Qingshui felt that Qin Feng's luck was really too good. With Ling Dozi's arrogant and overbearing personality, he actually didn't chase Qin Feng away? It was unbelievable just thinking about it. Beauty Qingshui, do you have any treasures that catch your eye? A burst of laughter could be heard. An elegant man in a blue robe had appeared beside Yun Qingshui at some point in time. You know me? Who are you? Yun Qingshui looked at the man cautiously. She couldn't help but lean toward Qin Feng. A cold glint flashed in the man's eyes, but he quickly regained his smile. Hee! Beauty Qingshui, I'm the genius disciple of the Wudang sect, Zhang Duanya. Beauty Qingshui is so charming and pure like a white lotus. I can't help but want to make friends with you. Zhang Duanya looked like a gentleman. Coupled with his handsome looks and high status, many female disciples of the outer martial arts world were interested in him. Zhang Duanya had long noticed Dongfang Qingshui and was about to greet her. However, the incident between the Ox village and the Quick Blade sect happened. Now that the situation had calmed down, Zhang Duanya came to strike up a conversation with her. Qin Feng stood to the side with a cold smile on his face. A few months ago, Qin Feng had broken the Wudang 13 sword formation during the Second Martial Arts World Disturbance, and violently beat up Zhang Duanya. At that time, Zhang Duanya was only a stage 7 inner chi cultivator. Now, his strong aura indicated that he had stepped into stage 8 inner chi. This cultivation speed made Qin Feng's eyes light up. Sorry, I'm not interested in you. You should find someone else. Dongfang Qingshui's expression turned cold as she directly rejected Zhang Duanya. Recently, Dongfang Qingshui had been staying in the Sichuan restaurant. She had forgotten that she had been hit on hundreds of times by men. She was mentally tired. Zhang Duanya was young and promising. He had a bit of fame in the outer martial arts world. He had never failed in wooing a woman. Now that he was rejected, he felt a bit embarrassed. Beauty Qingshui, what do you think of that white quality jade water sword? If you like it, I'll buy it for you immediately. Zhang Duanya didn't leave. He planned to use treasures to attract Dongfang Qingshui. Dongfang Qingshui actually wasn't a true martial artist. Although she had cultivated to stage 4 inner chi, she lived in the provincial capital most of the time. She wasn't interested in cultivation or spiritual weapons. No need! Zhang Duanya's expression changed slightly. He didn't think that white-quality spiritual weapons wouldn't interest Dongfang Qingshui. Zhang Duanya hesitated for a moment. He gritted his teeth and pointed at a long whip flickering with orange light on the display case. Could it be that Beauty Qing Shui likes to use long whips? That cloud swallow whip isn't bad. It's the right size and is just right for Miss Qing Shui. If you like it, I can also get it. In order to woo Dong Fang Qing Shui, Zhang Duanya had made up his mind. He had lost his azure-tipped sword in the martial world disturbance last time, and he was now using white-grade spiritual swords. However, he was prepared to get orange-grade cloud swallow whip for Dong Fang Qing Shui. Dong Fang Qing Shui's expression became increasingly cold. She had already seen through Zhang Duanya's intentions. However, before she could speak, Qin Feng, who had been silent all this time, suddenly laughed. "Brother, it looks like you have a high status in the outer martial arts world. You can get any treasure." Zhang Duanya didn't pay attention to Qin Feng before. Now that he saw Qin Feng's scarred face, he felt disdain in his heart. "Who are you, brat? You think you're worthy of talking to me?" Qin Feng laughed in his heart. He thought to himself, "Who I am isn't important. Since you're so powerful, can you get me an Azure Peak sword? I heard it's one of Wu Dang's 6 great treasured swords. It should be very powerful, right?" Once Qin Feng mentioned the Azure Peak sword, Zhang Duanya's entire face changed. Ever since Zhang Duanya lost the Azure Peak sword and returned to be scolded by the elders and sect leader of Wu Dang's sect, this incident left a shadow in Zhang Duanya's heart. Now, he hated it when people mentioned the 3 words. Azure Peak sword. "Brat, who do you think you are? Do you think you can see Wu Dang's 6 great spiritual swords just because you want to?" Zhang Duanya glared at Qin Feng while panting with rage. Qin Feng revealed a smile. "If you don't have it, then forget it. I was just curious." Qin Feng's words rendered Zhang Duanya speechless. He really did not have the azure-tipped sword right now. That sword had been snatched away by Qin Feng, and now Qin Feng's reputation in the martial arts world had soared. Ever since the battle 3 days ago, the Wu-Tang sect leader had ordered that they were not to offend Qin Feng in the future. The Wu-Tang sect did not want that azure-tipped sword anymore. Only Zhang Duanya understood what Qin Feng said. Dong Fang Qing Shui was confused. Zhang Duanya glared at Qin Feng while panting with rage and suddenly changed the topic. "Even though I didn't bring the Azure Peak sword, I have a lot of spiritual pills and medicine on me. I also have some other spiritual weapons and cultivation methods. These treasures are things you can't normally see. For example, the Wu Dang sect that I belong to is the #1 sect in the outer martial arts world. The cultivation resources in the sect are countless. It's not something a trash disciple of a small sect like you can imagine." Sanjiang. Chapter 1023. Zhang Duanya stared at Qin Feng with his head held high. His insufferably arrogant demeanor seemed as if he was about to float to the heavens. He even stole a glance at Dong Fang Qing Shui, thinking that Dong Fang Qing Shui would definitely be moved. However, he realized that woman's expression was becoming colder and colder. As one of the 5 sects of China, the Wu-Tang sect is indeed powerful. Since you've said so much, why don't you show us some treasures? Otherwise, I'll think you're bragging." Qin Feng looked at Zhang Duanya with a faint smile as if he was looking at an idiot. However, Zhang Duanya didn't see Qin Feng's expression. He thought that Qin Feng was frightened by his own sect and became even more arrogant. "Humph! Consider yourself lucky today, then I'll just casually take out some of my personal belongings for you to see. Don't be scared to death later," Zhang Duanya said as he began to rummage through his clothes. Dong Fang Qing Shui laughed coldly in her heart. As the Azure Dragon of China, Qin Feng must be experienced and knowledgeable. Dong Fang Qing Shui felt that a piece of trash like Zhang Duanya had the nerve to show off in front of Qin Feng. Zhang Duanya, on the other hand, had no idea. He was fantasizing about taking out treasures to slap Qin Feng in the face and capture Dong Fang Qing Shui's heart at the same time. After fiddling for a long time, Zhang Duanya finally fished out an exquisite jade bottle from his clothes. He carefully held it in his hand. Brat, open your eyes wide and take a good look. There are real spiritual pills inside. When the bottle was opened, a wave of fragrance wafted out. Many of the spectators smelled the medicinal fragrance and looked over. Someone already cried out in surprise. Huh! This fragrance is very similar to the smell of qi-strengthening pills. A rank 4 qi-strengthening pill is considered a superior pill. Among this group of outer martial artists, many had the strength of stage 6 inner qi. They needed qi-strengthening pills, which weren't expensive but were very helpful to them. Not long later, a large group of martial artists surrounded Zhang Duanya. They all stared at the qi-strengthening pills in Zhang Duanya's hand with golden eyes. Ha ha! Since someone has recognized the elixir in my hand, then let me give a simple introduction. That's right, the bottle in my hand is indeed qi-strengthening pills. There are a total of 6 elixirs in the jade bottle. This kind of elixir has no effect on me, so I take them as healing pills. Zhang Duanya boasted to the heavens. The qi-consolidating pill was indeed not very effective in helping him to break through, but he still treasured it very much. Normally, he would give it to the female disciples of other sects when he was picking up girls, and then use it to get a room. Most of them knew Zhang Duanya's identity, and they all looked at him enviously. The Wu-Tang clan was indeed worthy of being one of the 5 major sections. The cultivation resources possessed by the disciples of the sect were indeed abundant. Hero Zhang, since this qi-strengthening pill has no effect on you, why don't you sell it to me? Someone could no longer hold it in and asked Zhang Duanya for his opinion. Of course, Zhang Duanya did not plan to sell the qi-strengthening pill. This was a treasure that he used to show off. However, he did not reject them directly because he liked the feeling of being the center of attention. Hero Zhang, I want one too. Sell me one too. I heard that Hero Zhang is a genius disciple of the Wu-Tang clan. He stepped into the realm of stage 8 inner qi in his early 30s. In a few years, Hero Zhang's name will definitely resound throughout the martial arts world. In order to obtain the qi-strengthening pill in Zhang Duanya's hands, many people had already put down their moral integrity and started to flatter him in various ways. Zhang Duanya was immensely pleased with himself. He felt as if he was about to float. Dongfang Qingshui glared at Qin Feng with a cold expression. She lowered her voice and complained into Qin Feng's ear. Hurry up and take out an even more powerful pill to slap his face. I don't like him. As the daughter of the Dongfang clan, Dongfang Qingshui was this direct and willful. She would directly suppress whoever she disliked. She would not beat around the bush and play those hypocritical tricks. Since Dongfang Qingshui made such a request, Qin Feng naturally had to satisfy her. After all, this woman was Qin Feng's fiancée. Grade 4 qi-strengthening pill. Not bad, not bad. Qin Feng chuckled as he looked at Zhang Duanya. Zhang Duanya thought that Qin Feng was also trying to flatter him. He immediately looked at Qin Feng arrogantly. TSK. Isn't it just a bottle of qi-strengthening pill? It's trash that I don't even care about. Usually, I eat golden pills that are grade 6 and above when I cultivate. Rank advancement pills, diamond pills, knowledge pills, yin-yang golden pills. What kind of pills have I not seen? Zhang Duanya still flaunted his good deed. The surrounding martial artists all felt a wave of contempt for him. A 6th grade golden elixir was very rare in the outside martial arts world. Even in a hidden sect like the Starlight sect, it was very rare. However, although everyone knew that Zhang Duanya was bragging, no one exposed him. After all, everyone was very envious of the energy consolidation pill in Zhang Duanya's hands. They wanted to get one to stabilize their current strength. Since Brother Zhang doesn't care about the qi-strengthening pill in your hands, why don't you give everyone a few? Qin Feng suddenly laughed. His words instantly silenced the noisy surroundings. The surrounding martial artists all looked at Qin Feng with an excited expression, as if they had seen their own father. The smile on Zhang Duanya's face instantly froze. His face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Are you crazy? This is a grade 4 spirit pill. How can you give it away so easily? Qin Feng flipped his hand and grabbed a large handful of qi-strengthening pills. With Qin Feng's current strength, he was truly eating qi-strengthening pills like healing pills. Moreover, he ate them in handfuls every time. Wow! Young hero, are all of the qi-strengthening pills in your hands? This is incredible. This young hero is the real deal. He can casually grab a handful of qi-strengthening pills. Amazing, truly amazing! Everyone looked at Qin Feng's large hand. Their eyes glowed with greed like hungry wolves. Zhang Duanya suddenly choked. He felt as if there was a fishbone stuck in his throat. Young hero, you have so many qi-strengthening pills. Why don't you sell me one? Just name your price. Everyone ignored Zhang Duanya and focused on Qin Feng. This was because Qin Feng had more than 30 qi-strengthening pills in his hands. Moreover, the medicinal fragrance was clearly more fragrant than the qi-strengthening pills in Zhang Duanya's jade bottle. This meant that Qin Feng's qi-strengthening pills were of higher quality. Hey! What are you buying? I eat these pills like they are bubble gum. If you want one, I'll give you two. Qin Feng casually grabbed 2 qi-strengthening pills and threw them to a brawny man beside him. The brawny man suddenly froze. He felt as if he was dreaming. Why, young hero, why you're really giving them to me? Then I won't be courteous. I am Sky Mountain Sect's disciple Yunxing. In the future, if young hero needs anything, just look for me. I will do my best to help you. The brawny man took the 2 milky white pills. He was so excited that his voice was trembling. Everyone else could not remain calm. Qin Feng was too generous. These were grade 4 spirit pill qi-strengthening pills. Qin Feng gave them away for free without saying a word. This was too fucking exciting. Young hero, I am a disciple of the Throwing Dagger Association. Can you give me one as well? I am an elder of the Shadowless Feet sect. I hope young hero can reward me with a qi-strengthening pill. In an instant, the crowd surged forward to ask Qin Feng for qi-strengthening pills. Even Dongfang Qingxue was stunned. She did not expect Qin Feng to give away pills for free. Although she was not interested in pills and spiritual weapons, Dongfang Qingxue knew the importance of these things to martial artists. Seeing Qin Feng give away pills one by one, Dongfang Qingxue felt a bit of heartache for Qin Feng. Did he do this to help her anger Zhang Duanya? Hey! You're really giving them away? I am not angry anymore. Hurry up and put the pills away. Don't you need them for your own cultivation? Dongfang Qingxue suddenly pulled Qin Feng to the side and whispered in his ear. The two of them were almost pressed together. Dongfang Qingxue's fragrance wafted into Qin Feng's nose. Qin Feng felt a bit of warmth in his heart when he saw eldest Mrs. Heartache. Miss Qingxue, I'm the one giving the pills. Why are you feeling heartache? Don't tell me you've really fallen for me? Qin Feng looked at Dongfang Qingxue with a smile. Dongfang Qingxue suddenly came to her senses. Qin Feng was right. Why was she feeling heartache? Humph! I can't be bothered with you. It's better if you give away all your pills. Dongfang Qingxue angrily flung Qin Feng's arm away. She felt that Qin Feng did not know how to appreciate kindness. Of course, Qin Feng understood Dongfang Qingxue's thoughts. However, rank 4 qi-strengthening pills were really nothing to him. With Qin Feng's current status as a rank 6 alchemist, he could refine a few batches in a matter of minutes. Everyone, I only brought 40 qi-strengthening pills today. Now that I've given them away, I'll give them to everyone for free next time. Qin Feng chuckled as he looked at the crowd. The martial artists who received the qi-strengthening pills were grinning from ear to ear. Those who didn't get in line hung their heads dejectedly. Zhang Duanya had long since been forgotten by everyone and became transparent air. Young hero, you're too generous. I like to make friends with people like you. If you don't mind, can you tell us your name and sect? From now on, our North Pole sect will be your sect's ally. Our Sky Mountain sect is also Young Hero's friend. Kunlun's sect is willing to become good friends with Young Hero. All the sects that received Qin Feng's qi-strengthening pills took the initiative to express their goodwill to Qin Feng. Qin Feng was able to use the qi strengthening pills to solidify the goodwill of so many sections. However, Qin Feng appeared with the identity of Jing Shuai, so it wasn't appropriate for him to announce the name of the Hero Alliance. He swept his gaze across the crowd and said with a smile, "I'm a new disciple of the Blue Moon Observatory. I hope everyone will take care of me in the future." Qin Feng's words caused the crowd to gasp in surprise. The Blue Moon Observatory was only a small and unremarkable sect in the martial arts world. If Qin Feng didn't mention it, everyone would have forgotten about this sect. Dong Fang Qing Shui's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. A warm feeling surged in her heart. She finally understood Qin Feng's intention of giving away the pills for free. It turned out that he was helping the sect she was in gain fame. The Qin Yuan sect leader also stood in the crowd and stared dumbfoundedly at Qin Feng. How could a person who casually took out 40 qi strengthening pills be an ordinary person? Perhaps even Ling Dozi couldn't be so extravagant. Chapter 1024. Zhang Biao stood in the crowd with a darkened expression. He glared at Qin Feng with a huff and looked like he wanted to rush up and fight Qin Feng. Qin Feng was too outstanding. He felt like he could compete with young Master Qin. Zhang Biao was worried that if things continued like this, sister-in-law Qin Shui would be poached away by that scar-faced man. "Don't stand on ceremony, everyone. I'm not giving everyone the qi strengthening pills to build relationships. It's just that these pills are useless to me, so why not give them to everyone?" Brother Zhang from the Wu-Tang sect also said that the pills are useless to him. "I believe he will also give them to everyone." As soon as Qin Feng finished speaking, everyone's gazes fell on Zhang Duanya. Zhang Duanya was so frightened that he immediately grabbed the jade bottle tightly in his hand. "Young hero Zhang, since this little brother from the Blue Moon Temple has given it, a large sect like your Wu-Tang sect will definitely give it as well. Otherwise, we won't have the face to stay here. Everyone, don't worry. We'll line up and wait for young hero Zhang to give us the qi strengthening pills. If he doesn't, we'll break his dog legs." Everyone's eyes turned red when they saw the qi strengthening pills. They even threatened Zhang Duanya. Zhang Duanya was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Whether it was in terms of face or martial arts, he had to give them. "Cough, cough. Then I'll give you 3 qi strengthening pills. I'll keep the rest for use." Zhang Duanya clenched his teeth. 3 qi strengthening pills seemed to have taken half his life. Dong Fang Qin Shui looked down on Zhang Duanya's behavior. She thought of Qin Feng's extravagant manner when he gave the pills and was extremely careful. "Why are you only giving 3? Is young hero Zhang so stingy? The Wu-Tang sect can't even compare to the Blue Moon Temple? This is really unexpected." Everyone was here to watch the show and were not afraid of making things worse. They all made a ruckus. Zhang Duanya was so angry that his face was as black as the bottom of a pot. He suddenly felt that his hand was empty. The jade bottle had disappeared. "Ha ha! Don't worry, everyone. How could Brother Zhang only give 3? Let me see, there are only 6 left. Just nice for you." The jade bottle was in Qin Feng's hands at some point. He poured out the qi strengthening pills and gave them away. Zhang Duanya was dazed for a moment, and realized that all the pills he had saved were gone. He was so angry that he almost exploded. "Hey! What are you doing? Who told you to give away the spirit pill?" Zhang Duanya rushed up and yelled at Qin Feng. He looked like he was about to fight. "Brother Zhang, what kind of attitude is that? Did I make a mistake? Could it be that you don't want to give everyone a qi strengthening pill? All right, I'll get it back for you." Qin Feng had a look of indifference on his face, and Zhang Duanya immediately became anxious. He had already given away the pill, so how could he have the face to ask for it back? That would be like slapping the Wu-Tang clan in the face. Besides, even if he wanted it, could he get it back? Zhang Duanya watched as the 6 people who had taken his pills swallowed the qi consolidating pills in front of everyone. Cough, cough. Forget it, I've already given it away, there's no reason to take it back. Anyway, I don't care about those 6 qi strengthening pills, just treat it as a gift to make friends with everyone. Zhang Duanya saw that the situation could no longer be salvaged, so he could only pretend to be calm and put on a confident expression. He thought that it would not be a loss if he could exchange 6G consolidating pills for a friendly relationship with those 6 sections. TSK. Who wants to make friends with you? Look at how distressed you were when you gave away the pills just now. I've never seen anyone more stingy than you. That's right, that's right. Just now, the young hero from the Blue Moon Monastery gave away so quickly. He brought 40 chi strengthening pills at once, and you gave 6 to a beggar? What a disgrace, and you're even a member of the Wu-Tang clan. Zhang Duanya was still waiting for everyone to curry favor with him and say good things, but all he got were complaints and disdain. Zhang Duanya was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He had never seen such heartless and unscrupulous people before. Dong Fang Qin Shui bent over in laughter. She realized that Qin Feng's ability to mess with people was truly at the point of perfection, reaching a pinnacle that others could only look up to. If anyone was blind enough to offend Qin Feng, that person would truly have 8 lifetimes of bad luck. Everyone was still complaining about Zhang Duanya, but after complaining, they began to praise Qin Feng's extravagance and confidence. The Blue Moon Monastery that was originally neglected and even forgotten by everyone was constantly brought up in these 10 minutes. Evidently, it had become the main character of the day. Sect leader Qin Yuan and the 2 female disciples were grinning from ear to ear as they conversed with everyone. Chen Hai was also extremely pleased with himself. He kept telling everyone that he was the most powerful genius disciple of the Blue Moon Monastery. However, no one paid any attention to Chen Hai. Everyone surrounded Qin Feng and chatted happily. After making friends, everyone continued to admire the treasures on the display shelves. After all, the rank 4 chi strengthening pills were much lower grade compared to the spirit pills on the display shelves, so everyone's focus was on the display shelves. Qin Feng was finally free, and Dong Fang Qin Shui came to Qin Feng's side. After what just happened, Dong Fang Qin Shui was inexplicably happy. She purposely stuck close to Qin Feng, shoulder to shoulder. Zhang Duanya was still suppressing a bellyful of anger after being disdained by everyone. He was a genius disciple of the Wu-Tang clan, but he couldn't even beat a new disciple of the Blue Moon Monastery. Seeing Dong Fang Qin Shui starting to stick close to Qin Feng, how could Zhang Duanya swallow this resentment? Stinking brat, how dare you trick me just now? You're courting death. Seeing that everyone had left, Zhang Duanya ran over to play hard on Qin Feng again. Dong Fang Qin Shui had never seen such a trashy man like Zhang Duanya. She glared at him and reprimanded. Are you done yet? Hurry up and leave, don't ruin our mood. Zhang Duanya was speechless after being reprimanded. He was here to woo Dong Fang Qin Shui, so he couldn't offend this woman, right? Zhang Duanya was also angered. He waved his hand and suddenly pulled out a long sword from his waist. The body of the sword flickered with orange light, and there was even a faint spiritual aura surging on it. It was obviously an orange-grade spiritual sword. Dong Fang Qin Shui was stunned when she saw the sword. She usually didn't pay attention to the spiritual weapons used by martial artists. This was the first time she saw an orange-grade spiritual sword at such a close distance. The waves of spiritual aura drifting over made Dong Fang Qin Shui feel comfortable all over. With the sword out, Zhang Duanya was instantly pleased. This was one of Wu Dang's 6 great swords, the Soaring Cloud Sword. It was as famous as the azure-tipped sword. A hint of a smile flashed across Qin Feng's eyes. Orange-grade spiritual swords were something he had been playing with for a few months. Qin Feng even gave the azure-tipped sword to Wen Yiming, the Spirit Blast sword to Qin Wudao, and the orange-grade fire rod to Yun Zhe. To the current Qin Feng, orange-grade spiritual weapons were completely unworthy of his attention. Brother Zhang, why did you suddenly pull out a long sword? Do you want to fight? Then I'll have to call the people from Stellar Gate over. Are you trying to cause trouble? Qin Feng's words scared Zhang Duanya so much that his arrogance immediately dissipated. He hurriedly hid the Soaring Cloud Sword in his sleeves and shouted in a low voice. Are you crazy? I want you to see Wu Dang's soaring cloud sword. This is one of Wu Dang's 6 great swords that shares the same name as the azure-tipped sword. When did I say I wanted to cause trouble? Not long ago, the Quick Blade sect and the Ox village were disqualified from participating in the martial arts circle convention. In front of a hidden sect-like stellar gate, Zhang Duanya of Wu Dang's sect did not dare to act blindly without thinking. Qin Feng saw that Zhang Duanya was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat and felt it was funny. He pretended to be enlightened and said, "Oh, this is the soaring cloud sword. Quick, let me take a closer look." Zhang Duanya's arrogance returned. He puffed out his chest and raised his head to glare at Qin Feng. "Heh! This is one of my Wu Dang sect's 6 great swords. Normally, other people can't even see it even if they wanted to. You brat, you think you can see it just because you say so? Who do you think you are?" Zhang Duanya took out the soaring cloud sword to show off in front of Dong Fang Qin Shui and also to whet Qin Feng's appetite. Seeing Qin Feng's eager expression, Zhang Duanya was extremely pleased. However, Zhang Duanya did not show off for a few seconds. Qin Feng pulled Dong Fang Qin Shui and turned to leave. "Since you don't want to show it, don't take it out, you're crazy." Dong Fang Qin Shui was also very displeased. She did not forget to turn around and add, "Idiot." Zhang Duanya held the soaring cloud sword in his hand and felt a bit uncomfortable. He hurriedly chased after them and pulled Qin Feng to a corner with fewer people. "Brother, don't go. I'll show it to you, alright? There were too many people there just now. I'm afraid that if I show it, it will cause a commotion." Qin Feng smiled and looked at Zhang Duanya. "Oh? Is that so? Now that there's no one here, take it out for me to see." Zhang Duanya was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Usually it was people begging him to see Wu Dang's 6 great spiritual swords. Now, it was him begging Qin Feng to see the soaring cloud sword. What the fuck was this? Although he was angry, Zhang Duanya still pretended to be calm and took out the soaring cloud sword. The long sword was made very exquisitely, and there were even a few flying clouds carved on the blade. Dong Fang Qin Shui's eyes sparkled when she saw it. Zhang Duanya had been secretly observing Dong Fang Qin Shui's reaction. Seeing that she seemed to really like the soaring cloud sword, Zhang Duanya's heart instantly became excited. He was confident that he could use this soaring cloud sword to trick Dong Fang Qin Shui into bed. Wow! So this is the soaring cloud sword. It truly lives up to its reputation. Qin Feng also pretended to be pleasantly surprised. He extended his hand to snatch the treasured sword from Zhang Duanya's hand. "Tisk tsk. Look at how perfectly this sword is made. This sword must be very expensive, right?" Zhang Duanya was so scared that his entire body trembled. He extended his hand to snatch the soaring cloud sword back. "Hey! You brat, just look at it. Who told you to touch it?" Qin Feng casually tilted his body and dodged Zhang Duanya's hand. He curled his lips and said, "Brother Zhang, what are you so nervous about? There's no one else here. Let me touch it and feel it. This is one of Wu Dang's 6 great spiritual swords, the soaring cloud sword. It can't be damaged just by touching it." Qin Feng spoke with conviction, and Zhang Duanya couldn't refute him. Furthermore, Dong Fang Qin Shui was also here. If Zhang Duanya forcefully snatched the treasured sword back, it would seem like he wasn't generous enough. Zhang Duanya gritted his teeth and followed Qin Feng to examine the soaring cloud sword. At most, he would let that brat look at it for half a minute, and then he would take it back. Qin Feng casually swept a few glances at the soaring cloud sword. He wasn't excited. This orange-grade treasured sword was considered to be of high quality, but it was still an orange-grade spiritual weapon. Compared to Qin Feng's Heaven Splitter axe and Blood Drinker blade, it was far inferior. Chapter 1025. Actually, Qin Feng didn't lack anything in Hero City. Hua Bei built a herb garden in Hero City and planted all kinds of spiritual herbs and spiritual plants. The majority of the Yun family in the provincial capital had also moved to Hero City. The Yun family had always been a family of artifact refiners, and with the help of Hero City's funds and conditions, the Yun family's reputation was growing. The number of spirit artifacts they refined every year also increased, and in just a few short months, their reputation had already caught up to the Sima family's blacksmith shop. Now, Zhang Duanya was showing off the medicinal pills to Qin Feng, and he was showing off the soaring cloud sword. These actions were really going to make Qin Feng laugh to death. He had never seen someone who needed to be tortured so much. "Hey! Are you done looking? Give me back the soaring cloud sword. Don't break it!" Zhang Duanya was burning with anxiety and urged Qin Feng. Dongfang Qingshui raised her beautiful brows and looked down on Zhang Duanya even more. "Can't you be more manly? Qingshui just got the soaring cloud sword, and it hasn't even been 10 seconds. You shouldn't have taken it out in the first place. You're crazy." After being looked down upon by Dongfang Qingshui, Zhang Duanya felt extremely sullen. This time, he couldn't urge Qin Feng anymore. That was an orange equipment sword, how could it be broken? Zhang Duanya was slightly relieved. Qin Feng looked like he was admiring the soaring cloud sword, but he was secretly activating the fire of destruction. The flame of destruction was the myriad beast true fire. Its power was dozens of times stronger than the true Qi flames released by a true Qi expert. When Qin Feng fought with Purple Dragon Su Xiaotian at the Broken Cliff Mountain, he used the flame of destruction to melt Su Xiaotian's orange-grade heaven-splitting blade in a fit of anger. Rumble! A ball of fire appeared in Qin Feng's palm, but it was controlled by Qin Feng very well. It disappeared in the blink of an eye, and no one saw the fire of destruction appear. "Eh? What's that sound?" Zhang Duanya didn't see it, but he heard a faint sound. Qin Feng casually threw the soaring cloud sword to Zhang Duanya and said with a pout, "Why are you so alarmed? It's just the sound of the wind. Look at how scared you are." Normally, Zhang Duanya wouldn't be startled by the sound of the wind. However, the soaring cloud sword was in Qin Feng's hands, so any rustle of grass in the wind would make him extremely nervous. At this moment, the soaring cloud sword had already returned to Zhang Duanya's hands. His heart finally calmed down. Thinking of his embarrassing action just now, he hurriedly laughed and said, "Ha ha! What do you think? The flying cloud sword is one of the 6 spiritual swords of Wudang sect. It's very powerful, isn't it? The sect leader has entrusted it to me for safekeeping. With this spiritual sword, even though I'm only a stage 8 inner Qi warrior, I can still fight against a stage 9 inner Qi master." Zhang Duanya revealed a proud expression. He was only in his early 30s, but he already possessed the strength to fight against a stage 9 inner Qi expert. Even in the entire pugilistic world, this kind of skill was extremely rare. Zhang Duanya had originally thought that after his boasting, Dongfang Qingshui's eyes would be filled with envy and that Qingshui would also be scared witless. In the end, he secretly glanced at the two of them and discovered that this was not the case at all. TSK. He's only at the early stage of stage 9 inner Qi. How can he be arrogant? How ignorant! Dongfang Qingshui couldn't help but grumble. Qin Feng was already at the peak of stage 9 inner Qi, but he didn't talk about it every day. Qin Feng also put on a disdainful expression. He looked at the flying cloud sword in Zhang Duanya's hands and said, "Brother Zhang, this is only an orange-grade spiritual weapon. It's not as incredible as you've bragged. You're only at stage 8 inner Qi, so how can you fight against a stage 9 inner Qi martial artist with an orange-grade spiritual weapon?" Zhang Duanya was so angry that his lungs were about to explode after being despised by the two of them. He was also angry. He immediately glared at Qin Feng and roared, "Stinking brat, what do you mean by this? Are you looking down on our Wudang sect's 6 spiritual swords? If you have the guts, then fight with me right now. I'll let you see the power of this flying cloud sword." A majestic aura burst out from Zhang Duanya's body, pressuring Dongfang Qingshui to the point that she couldn't breathe. Qin Feng embraced Dongfang Qingshui in his arms. A layer of strong aura also appeared on his body, instantly suppressing Zhang Duanya's aura. Are you fighting here? Then I'll first call Alliance Master Ling Dozi of the Starlight Sect over and ask him if he'll let you hit him. Qin Feng's words scared Zhang Duanya so much that he immediately broke his aura. His aura instantly disappeared. Zhang Duanya didn't dare to call Ling Dozi over, unless their Wudong sect didn't want to participate in this year's martial arts circle convention. Looking at Zhang Duanya's sullen expression, Qin Feng smiled and said, "Because of the Treasure Inspection Guild's rules, I obviously can't fight with you. Why don't Brother Zhang just swing your sword a few times and let us see your strength and the power of the Flying Cloud Sword?" Qin Feng took the initiative to help Zhang Duanya out of his predicament, stunning both Zhang Duanya and Dongfang Qingxue. Dongfang Qingxue glared at Qin Feng angrily. She even secretly pinched Qin Feng's lower back and whispered into Qin Feng's ear, "Are you stupid? Why are you speaking up for him?" Qin Feng didn't explain and smiled at Dongfang Qingxue. Zhang Duanya came back to his senses and hurriedly waved the Flying Cloud Sword in his hand. He wanted to properly display his strength and the power of the Flying Cloud Sword. Whoosh! A streak of sword chi flew through the air and even Dongfang Qingxue jumped in fright. The Flying Cloud Sword was indeed a high-grade spiritual sword. When it was waved, it flashed with an orange light. The spiritual chi on the long sword instantly burst forth, as if the entire sword had a life of its own. Zhang Duanya waved the Flying Cloud Sword and his entire aura changed. He was like an expert pointing out the world with his sword. He even secretly glanced at Dongfang Qingxue. When he saw Dongfang Qingxue's shocked expression, he was indescribably pleased. Crack! Just as the Flying Cloud Sword made a half-circle in the air, a crisp sound suddenly rang out. Zhang Duanya felt the weight in his hand lighten. The Flying Cloud Sword, one of the 6 great spiritual swords of Wudang, had actually been broken into 2. One half of the sword had already fallen to the ground. The atmosphere froze in an instant. Zhang Duanya's moves were all frozen in midair. His eyeballs had already fallen to the ground as he stared at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Dongfang Qingxue was also dumbfounded. Then she couldn't help but hold her stomach and laughed. "Ha ha! You have the nerve to display this lousy sword? And you say it's one of the 6 great spiritual swords of Wudang? So the Wudang sect is actually such a noob." Dongfang Qingxue convulsed with laughter. Zhang Duanya stood rooted to the ground, unable to regain his senses for a long time. A few months ago, Zhang Duanya had just lost the Wudang azure-tipped sword. Now, he had broken the Flying Cloud Sword. His back was drenched in cold sweat. It was as if he had seen the scene of himself being hung upside down on a tree stump and whipped by the Wudang sect leader. What the hell? Brother Zhang, what the hell is this? Why did it break after just one swing? Don't tell me you randomly took out a fake to play with us." Qin Feng pretended to be shocked as he stared at Zhang Duanya. Qin Feng knew best why the Flying Cloud Sword had broken. It was because the broken part of the sword had just been roasted by Qin Feng's fire of destruction. Zhang Duanya was truly dumbfounded. He only regained his senses after being stunned for a while. As soon as he regained his senses, Zhang Duanya bared his fangs and brandished his claws at Qin Feng. He yelled coldly, "Stinking brat, it's you, isn't it? You're the one who broke the Flying Cloud Sword. Hey! Hurry and let go of my boyfriend. Don't you have any shame? You took out a lousy sword and broke it, and you still have the nerve to frame my boyfriend." Dongfang Qingxue was anxious, and called Qin Feng her boyfriend. Dongfang Qingxue didn't know about Qin Feng's little actions earlier. She really thought that the Flying Cloud Sword was broken by Zhang Duanya. In reality, Zhang Duanya still couldn't understand. How could the Flying Cloud Sword break with just one swing? He didn't suspect Qin Feng. Instead, he purposely put the blame on Qin Feng because Zhang Duanya couldn't take the blame. Qin Feng's body shook lightly, and he shook off Zhang Duanya's hand. Zhang Duanya was stunned for a moment. Only now did he realize that this unremarkable scar-faced man in front of him was actually an expert. "Don't be unreasonable here. You want to trick me with a lousy sword? Do you think I'm scared? Qin Feng's expression became cold, and a powerful aura exploded from his body. Zhang Duanya didn't dare to go near Qin Feng, but he still said, "This is one of Wu Dang's 6 great spiritual swords, the Flying Cloud Sword. How could a high-grade orange spiritual sword suddenly break? You must have broken it when you touched it just now." Zhang Duanya completely shed all pretense of cordiality. Dongfang Qin Shui was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Qin Feng had a calm and composed expression. "You already said that this is a high-grade orange spiritual sword, so how could it break with just a touch from me? I think this is just a replica. Are you trying to trick me? I'll call the people from the Starlight sect to get justice for me." Qin Feng acted like he was going to call for help. This scared Zhang Duanya so much that he immediately deflated. Don't call for help, then what do you think we should do about this sword?" Qin Feng asked with a cold expression. Zhang Duanya was so sullen that tears almost flowed out. He couldn't understand what was going on no matter how much he thought about it. However, Zhang Duanya knew that this had nothing to do with Qin Feng. He only touched the Flying Cloud Sword, so how could it break? This I won't blame you. However, you have to help me keep this a secret. Don't tell anyone about this. Zhang Duanya was still afraid that the Starlight sect would come. If that happened, they would treat him as a troublemaker and directly disqualify him from the Martial Circle Convention. Zhang Duanya had already thought it through. This Flying Cloud Sword was given to him for safekeeping by the sect leader of the Wudong sect. At least for this period of time, the Wudong sect wouldn't know that the Flying Cloud Sword was broken. After the Martial Circle Convention ended, Zhang Duanya was prepared to go to the smithy to find a master to see if he could reattach this broken sword. TSK. After all this time, you only got a broken sword to show off. So embarrassing. Darling, let's go. Qin Feng held back his laughter and rolled his eyes at Zhang Duanya. Then, he hugged Dongfang Qin Shui and swaggered back to the display rack. Zhang Duanya could only watch as the two left intimately. He was really depressed to death. He originally wanted to woo Dongfang Qin Shui, but in the end, he lost 6 Qi strengthening pills and a broken Flying Cloud Sword. In the end, he didn't even get to touch Dongfang Qin Shui's little hand. That Wudong sect man is so low. I've never seen such a trashy man. Dongfang Qin Shui was still cursing Zhang Duanya. Chapter 1026. Dongfang Qin Shui was stunned. She didn't even notice that Qin Feng was hugging her waist. After staring at Qin Feng for a long time, Dongfang Qin Shui suddenly came to her senses. So it was you? You're so cool. Piss off that Wu-Tang sect idiot! Dongfang Qin Shui had long disliked Zhang Duanya's behavior. After knowing the truth, she was so excited that she hugged Qin Feng's neck and jumped. Everyone looked at Dongfang Qin Shui. They all sighed in their hearts when they saw that an ugly man like Qin Feng could flirt with a beauty like Dongfang Qin Shui. Qin Shui, jump higher! Qin Feng stared at Dongfang Qin Shui's chest like a pig and muttered. Dongfang Qin Shui jumped halfway and abruptly stopped. She let out a cry of surprise and pushed Qin Feng away. A rosy blush flashed across her 1,000-year iceberg handsome face. She was as beautiful and moving as the setting sun. Pervert, go to hell! Dongfang Qin Shui punched Qin Feng's chest, then turned around and ran to sect leader Qin Yuan. Zhang Biao shook his head when he saw this. He realized sister-in-law Qin Shui had taken a liking to that scar-faced man. He was so angry that he clenched his fists and glared at Qin Feng. If it wasn't for the fact that the people from Starlight sect forbade fighting, Zhang Biao would have rushed up and beat Qin Feng up. Buzz! Qin Feng didn't find the Saint Soul Stone after staying in the Treasure Convention for a long time. However, at this moment, the Emerald Spirit Ring on his finger vibrated. It was a sign that it had sensed the treasure. Qin Feng hurriedly followed the direction of the Emerald Spirit Ring and arrived at the bottom of the display shelves. The order and position of the treasures on these 2 display racks were quite particular. The higher up and closer to the center, the rarer the treasures. As for where Qin Feng was standing, the treasures basically didn't attract much attention. Qin Feng didn't care about this. Instead, he squatted on the ground and carefully looked at the display items at the bottom. The items on this level were indeed of low quality. They were all second-grade elixirs. There were also some white-grade weapons that couldn't even reach the spiritual grade. There were also some antique jades and medicinal herbs like thousand-year-old ginseng used for alchemy. These were all things that people didn't really care about. Qin Feng searched for a long time. The emerald spirit ring could only lock onto such a small area. It was more difficult to lock onto the items because there were hundreds of treasures on this level. This stone is a little special. After searching for more than 10 minutes, Qin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. An extremely inconspicuous broken stone fell into his sight. The stone was completely black, as if it was going to swallow all light. It was completely inconspicuous among the items, and Qin Feng had overlooked it many times. However, the outer layer of the shelf was protected by glass, so Qin Feng could only look through the glass. He had no way of holding the stone in his hand. In this way, Qin Feng couldn't determine whether the treasure caused by the emerald spirit ring was this pitch-black stone or not. Everyone! The exhibition time is over. Now it's time for the auction. These exhibition items are the treasures brought by the major sects in the outer martial arts world. The representatives of the sects have reached an agreement with the Stars sect. They are willing to auction these items in public. If anyone has something you want to auction, please come to the Stars sect and sign an auction agreement with me. Ling Dozi's voice rang out, and a look of eagerness appeared on the faces of everyone in the hall. The most important part of tonight's auction had finally arrived. Everyone had been waiting all night for this moment. At this moment, 4 groups of people walked into the Sichuan restaurant. The martial artists in the hall turned their heads to look. When they saw the newcomers, they immediately cried out in surprise. Qin Feng also looked towards the entrance curiously. The 4 groups of people were obviously from the 4 sections. They were all dressed in the same way, and they emitted a cold and arrogant aura. They looked at everyone with cold eyes, as if the martial artists in the hall were not worth mentioning in their eyes. Soon, Qin Feng saw Suruoro and Hua Xianyu among the people who came. When Pikachu saw Suruoro, he ran around and shouted excitedly in the system. Qin Feng's calm heart was instantly stirred up by a storm. He wanted to rush over and carry Suruoro away, but Qin Feng calmed down in the end. At least in the current situation and Qin Feng's situation, he couldn't act blindly without thinking. Who are these people? The Treasure Inspection Convention is already at the last segment. They are so arrogant. They are going to be chased out by the Starlight sect in a while. The crowd was already in an uproar, and there were all kinds of discussions. Shut up if you don't want to die. You don't even know them? They are 4 of the 5 hidden hegemons. They are the Serenity sect, Snow Mountain sect, Immortal Cloud sect, and Ice Lake Mountain. Including the Starlight sect, that makes 5 sects. When Qin Feng heard the discussion, a glint flashed across his eyes. So these were the other 4 sects of the 5 hidden hegemons. Qin Feng moved his gaze away from Suruoro and carefully sized up the disciples of the other 3 sections. The disciples who came were basically young disciples under the age of 30, but they had a strong inner chi. They were all Stage 8 inner chi experts, and there were even a few who had stepped into the ranks of Stage 9 inner chi. Huh! Qin Feng slightly raised his eyebrows. His gaze was fixed on the young man behind the Snow Mountain sect elder. The man was dressed in a white robe. His sideburns reached his chest, and he had a pair of sword-like eyebrows. He stood there like a cold and unfathomable swordsman. Qin Feng knew this man. Wasn't he Wen Yiming, whom he met during the exploration of the Ghost Mountain ancient martial arts ruins in the capital? Qin Feng even gave him the azure-tipped sword. When he explored the Ghost Mountain, Wen Yiming was a Stage 8 inner chi expert. After not seeing him for a few months, Qin Feng discovered that Brother Wen had broken through to the early stage of Stage 9 inner chi, reaching the same realm as him. So Wen Yiming is a disciple of the Snow Mountain sect, one of the 5 hidden hegemons. It seems that the hidden hegemons are indeed filled with experts. Qin Feng was somewhat excited to see Wen Yiming here, but he didn't go up to greet him. After all, he was now using the identity of Jing Shuai. While the crowd was discussing, the elders of the four sects led their disciples over to the Starlight sect. They acted as if they couldn't hear the discussion. Hee hee! Alliance leader Ling Dozi, we are late. Please forgive us. An elder of the Snow Mountain sect spoke first. The elders and disciples of the other sects all nodded at Ling Dozi. Ling Dozi didn't put on much airs at this moment. He chuckled and said, Elder Wen is too serious. Everyone came at the right time. The auction has just begun. Ling Dozi bowed slightly to the elder of the Snow Mountain sect and swept his gaze over the other elders. Elder Wen of the Snow Mountain sect was nicknamed White Hair Wen. He was only in his 40s, but he already had a head full of white hair. Rumor had it that Elder Wen's hair had turned white when he was 30 years old. At that time, he wholeheartedly comprehended the way of the sword and achieved great success in the way of the sword overnight. However, his black hair also turned white overnight. Elder Wen raised his hand and said, Then, Alliance leader Ling Dozi, please continue to host the meeting. Ling Dozi nodded. He walked from the crowd to the display racks and pressed the red button on the display rack. The glass surrounding the racks slowly retracted. The thousands of treasures on the two display racks were displayed in front of everyone's eyes. They were within reach and immediately caused a wave of exclamations. There were so many treasures in front of them, but no one dared to act recklessly. Everyone only cried out a few times to vent their emotions. After all, the 5 hidden hegemons were here. Anyone who dared to snatch the treasures would be beheaded in the next second. Ling Dozi waited for everyone's cries to gradually die down before he said, All right, I believe everyone can't wait any longer. Then, let the auction begin. Let's start with the auction of the lowest item. Ling Dozi walked to one of the display racks. Everyone's gaze fell on the lowest item. The quality of the treasures on this floor was relatively low. Basically, no one present would be interested in them. Although there were a lot of treasures on the display shelves, the auction speed was very fast. In less than 10 minutes, the auction of the items at the bottom of the first display shelf had ended. Only the treasures were sold, and no one bid for the other items. Ling Dozi went to the second display rack and began to auction the treasure on the lowest item. Qin Feng stood there. The strange jet-black rock that he had his eyes on was also on the display rack on this level. This is a grade 2 blood chi pill. Does anyone want to bid for it? Ling Dozi inquired about the items one by one. The blood chi pill was sold in the same medic hall in every martial artist town. Moreover, the price of the blood chi pill was not much lower than the Saint medic halls, so no one wanted to bid for it. Ling Dozi took out the blood chi pill and returned it to its owner. Then, he moved on to the next item. Along the way, he finally reached the strange rock that Qin Feng had his eyes on. Ling Dozi glanced at the big, jet-black rock, and a trace of disdain flashed across his eyes. He skipped over the rock and moved on to the next item. This is a longsword forged with black iron as the main material. It contains a small amount of frost iron. It can be considered a semi-spiritual weapon. The starting price is 500,000. Does anyone want to bid for it? Ling Dozi pointed at a black longsword. The surrounding martial artists shook their heads. Everyone wanted a spiritual weapon to use as a weapon. This kind of weapon could be bought directly from a blacksmith's shop. Wait. Why isn't that rock being auctioned? Qin Feng suddenly asked without waiting for anyone to speak. Everyone's gaze fell on Qin Feng. He could be considered a celebrity tonight. First, he gave away free qi strengthening pills in public. Then, he flirted with a great beauty like Dongfang Qing Shui. Many people in the crowd recognized Qin Feng. Then, a wave of sighs broke out. Judging from Qin Feng's attitude when he gave away the grade 4 qi strengthening pills for free, he was a very powerful and reclusive expert in everyone's hearts. Who would have thought that Qin Feng would be interested in a lousy rock? This action was truly beyond everyone's expectations. Ling Dozi and the 2 elders behind him were stunned. The three of them had been watching Qin Feng all night. They were waiting to make their move after the auction. Ling Dozi didn't expect Qin Feng to suddenly be interested in that lousy rock. Could it be that there was something mysterious about this rock? Chapter 1027. Ling Dozi couldn't find anything special about this stone after studying it for a while. He pretended not to know Qin Feng and said indifferently, "Are you sure you want to bid for this broken stone?" "That's right. I've always liked to collect rocks. It's a quirk of mine." Qin Feng casually made up a cover to avoid everyone's suspicion. "The starting price of this stone is 10,000 yuan. You can raise the price now," Ling Dozi said. Before Qin Feng could speak, a young warrior suddenly ran out of the crowd. He was a disciple of the Sky Mountain sect based on his attire. "Alliance Master Ling Dozi, young hero. I'm the one who placed this stone here for auction. Previously, young hero gave me a chi strengthening pill for free. Since young hero has taken a liking to this lousy stone, how can I take your money? I'll give it to young hero for free." Ling Dozi was stunned. He looked at Qin Feng and waited for his opinion. Qin Feng said with a smile, "Then I won't be unreasonable. May I know your name? You can find me when you have time in the future." The man was overjoyed and said excitedly, "Young hero, I'm Chen Fan, a disciple of the Sky Mountain sect." Qin Feng nodded, but he didn't leave his name because it was useless to leave his identity as Jing Shuai. The reason why Qin Feng asked for Chen Fan's name was not to be polite. This stone was brought by Chen Fan. Qin Feng planned to have a chat with Chen Fan after the treasure inspection convention to find out how he obtained this stone. Chen Fan had already given the stone to Qin Feng with a smile. Qin Feng chatted with Chen Fan for a while and then took the stone to a corner where there was no one. The auction was still going on, and the atmosphere was getting more and more heated. This was because the items auctioned later on were rarer and rarer treasures. The venue was filled with screams and more people were bidding. Their minds were on the treasures on the two shelves, and no one paid attention to Qin Feng in the corner. As Qin Feng sat on the chair, he had already used his mind to sense the stone. The originally pitch black and ordinary stone unexpectedly emitted waves of spiritual energy. Moreover, the emerald spirit ring on Qin Feng's finger also began to vibrate. Obviously, this stone was the treasure that the emerald spirit ring had identified. "Little pig, this stone seems a little strange. Is it a Saint Soul stone?" Qin Feng held the stone and studied it for a while, but he couldn't figure it out. "Master, the Saint Soul stone needs blood to be activated. Before it's activated, it's just like a normal stone," Little Pig said. Qin Feng's eyes lit up, and he immediately took out the bloodthirst blade and made a cut on his index finger. Blood flowed and dripped onto the jet black stone. This ordinary stone suddenly changed. The surface of the stone seemed to breathe, and it instantly absorbed all of Qin Feng's blood. In the blink of an eye, the surface of the stone returned to its original state, as if it had never been stained with blood. Buzz! A strange energy wave spread out from the stone, causing the emerald spirit ring to shake violently. At a speed visible to the naked eye, the jet black stone began to shed its skin. The black outer layer completely fell off, and the inside shone with a golden light, as if it was a lump of gold. Saint Soul stone. After dripping a drop of blood into it, it could merge with the Blood Kaiser's consciousness. It was a great material for crafting high-grade divine weapons. After the jet black stone completely transformed into a golden stone, the emerald spirit ring identified the nature of the stone. It turned out to be a Saint Soul stone. Qin Feng was extremely excited. He had opened the limited edition interface of the system a few months ago. In order to craft the cosmic flying sword, he had collected materials for half a year. Now that he had collected all the materials, Qin Feng couldn't wait to craft the cosmic flying sword. "Master, you don't have enough spirit stones now. I suggest you get more just in case." Crafting a spiritual weapon required spirit stones, especially an immortal weapon like the cosmic flying sword. It required a large amount of spirit stones as the energy source for crafting. Qianfen had collected a large amount of spirit stones in the Ghost Mountain ancient martial ruins. However, he had used up a lot of them when he stored the spiritual weapons in the Million Treasure Pavilion, so he didn't have much left. The next auction item is an orange-grade meteor hammer. The starting price is 20 million and a white-grade spiritual sword. The auction was in full swing, and the treasures on the highest level of the display racks had already been auctioned off. There were many good items on this level. There were even orange-grade spiritual weapons. However, most of the spiritual weapons were rarely used weapons like the meteor hammer. Only the disciples of sects who specialized in this type of weapon would fight for them. Qianfen put away the Saint Soul Stone and returned to the side of the display racks. There were hundreds of spirit stones on the highest level. The lowest quality of these spirit stones was a medium-grade spirit stone. However, hundreds of spirit stones were auctioned off together. No individual spirit stones would be sold. This was a big deal. The value of hundreds of spirit stones was higher than a blue-grade spiritual weapon. The orange-grade meteor hammer had already been auctioned off. It was bought by the leader of the meteor gang at a high price. The meteor gang used the meteor hammer. The leader's weapon was an ordinary weapon that couldn't be shown in public. Now that he had obtained an orange-grade meteor hammer, he was so excited that he almost fainted. The next item is 100 medium-grade and high-grade spirit stones. These spirit stones have to be bought in one go. They won't be auctioned separately. The starting price is 100 million and an orange-grade spiritual sword. As soon as Ling Dozi finished speaking, a wave of exclamations sounded from the crowd. The 100 spirit stones were enough to attract the crowd. Moreover, the price of the spirit stones was astonishing. 100 million and an orange-grade spiritual sword was the starting price. This was the highest starting price of the auction tonight. However, even though the price was high, the 100 spirit stones were still quite popular. This was because, for cultivators, spirit stones were like the temptation of delicacies for ordinary people. These cultivators relied on the spirit energy in spirit stones to speed up their cultivation. Moreover, spirit stones were also used in array formations, refining weapons, and concocting pills. After a short silence, someone in the crowd raised the price. It was Elder Nyo of the Flame sect. 110 million and an orange-grade spiritual sword. Qianfen was slightly surprised. He didn't care about the Flame sect at all. He didn't expect such a small sect to have so much money. Qianfen felt that he had underestimated the power of the outer martial world. 130 million and an orange-grade spiritual sword from the outer sect. As soon as Elder Nyo finished speaking, a new voice came from the crowd. The crowd looked over and sighed. It was a bald monk from the Shaolin Temple who was raising the price. 150 million and an orange-grade spiritual sword from the outer sect. The Ma sect also joined the bidding. It seemed that the temptation of 100 spirit stones was quite great. There was no fighting in the surroundings, but the smell of gunpowder filled the air. This auction was more brutal than a real fight. The faces of the elders who placed their bids were as dark as the bottom of a pot. In a short while, the price of 100 spirit stones had been raised to 200 million. However, no one had added an orange equipment spirit sword as a bargaining chip. After all, money was just a worldly possession to these martial artists. However, treasures like spirit weapons were also very rare to them. Currently, the ones still bidding were 3 of the 5 Chinese sections. In front of them, the small sects that had previously spoken up had long since shut their mouths. Competing with the 5 Chinese sects in terms of funds and resources was definitely asking for trouble. 300 million and 2 orange-grade spiritual swords. Seeing that the Taoist nun from the Ma sect was about to win this auction, a cold voice came from the crowd. Everyone was startled and looked over. There was a group of people standing in the northwest corner of the hall. The martial artists around these people consciously gave them some space as if they were afraid of them. Qianfen also looked over. This group of people wore green robes and each of them was arrogant and unruly. They were the people from Ice Lake Mountain, one of the 5 hegemons of the inner hidden sects. No one expected the female elder of Ice Lake Mountain to suddenly bid. This time, the elders of the Amei sect, Shaolin Temple, and Kunlun sect lost their confidence. In front of the inner hidden sects, the 5 sects of China did not dare to act rashly. Under the crowd's gaze, the female elder of Ice Lake Mountain walked to the display shelf. She was a woman of unknown age. Her green robes fluttered even though there was no wind. Her face was so beautiful that many people stared at her and admired her beauty. However, they only admired her beauty. No one dared to show a trace of vulgarity or disrespect. This was because most of the people present had heard of this elder of Ice Lake Mountain. Her name was Elder Qian Huantong. It was said that she was an old woman in her 50s. However, her fair and supple skin was more delicate than an 18-year-old girl's. Rumor had it that she was a Stage 9 inner chi expert. When Elder Qian Huantong arrived, the crowd instantly felt pressured. An invisible aura enveloped the hall, making it hard for everyone to breathe. I bid 300 million and 2 orange-grade spiritual swords. If anyone still wants to compete with me, I'll keep you company until the end. Elder Qian Huantong looked around. Her voice was calm, but it was filled with irresistible majesty. The elders of Shaolin Temple, Amei sect, and Kunlun sect immediately gave in. The Amei nun who was about to win the auction lowered her head and did not dare to look at Elder Qian Huantong. She could only suppress the anger in her heart. The hall suddenly became quiet. Everyone understood that under the pressure of Ice Lake Mountain, no one dared to compete for the 100 spiritual stones. Moreover, Ice Lake Mountain's bid was absolutely high. Putting aside the 300 million, just the 2 orange-grade spiritual swords were enough to suppress everyone. After the audience fell silent for 5 seconds, Ling Dozi had already stepped forward and was about to announce the result of the 1,000 illusion child's bid for 100 spirit stones. However, at this moment, a cold voice rang out. 400 million, plus 2 orange-grade spirit swords. Swoosh! The originally quiet hall suddenly burst into an uproar. Seeing that Ice Lake Mountain had already won the auction, no one expected that a new competitor would suddenly appear at this time. Everyone looked over at the source of the voice. They really wanted to see which sect's disciple was so reckless and dared to compete with Elder Qian Huantong. Even if he won the auction now, could he really bring the 100 spiritual stones out of Devil City? Chapter 1028. It's that young hero? It's over, it's over. This young hero is in big trouble today. Is he really a new disciple of the Azure Moon Shrine? I don't believe it. Not long ago, he gave away a grade 4 chi strengthening pill for free, then he flirted with the goddess. Now, he's challenging Elder Qian Huantong in public. He's too domineering. The crowd was filled with murderous discussions. The person who raised the bid was Qin Feng, and it shocked everyone. The people of Ice Lake Mountain were already looking at Qin Feng. The disciple's eyes were filled with murderous intent. 1,000 Illusion Child's eyes were wide open, and he gritted his teeth as he glared at Qin Feng. It was as if he was going to kill Qin Feng in the next second. Qin Feng's expression did not change as he stood among the crowd. He had observed that the most powerful person here was only at the peak of Stage 9 inner chi. Although Qin Feng was not confident that he could defeat his opponent, he had no problem escaping. Others might be afraid of Elder Qian Huantong, but Qin Feng was not afraid of her. Besides, Qin Feng did not want to go against Ice Lake Mountain on purpose. He had his eyes on the 100 spirit stones and was about to use them to forge the galaxy flying sword. After a while, the crowd fell into a dead silence. Everyone held their breath and looked at Qin Feng and Elder Qian Huantong. They were afraid that the old woman would suddenly attack them. Dongfang Qingshua's face turned pale with fright. The sect leader of Qing Yuan's sect had a bitter expression on his face. Qin Feng had brought the Azure Moon Shrine into the limelight, and now, he had dragged the Azure Moon Shrine into the water with him. He had attracted such a powerful enemy. The sect leader of Qing Yuan's sect did not know what to say. Ha ha! Interesting, very interesting. It's been a long time since Ice Lake Mountain has met a rival in the auction. I wonder which sect you are from? You want to compete with me? After a long silence, Elder Qian Huantong suddenly laughed. She only took one step forward, but she appeared in front of Qin Feng in the blink of an eye. Her miraculous move drew gasps from the crowd. Qin Feng saw it clearly, but he was impressed by the old woman's speed. Even though he was only 1 meter away from Elder Qian Huantong, Qin Feng was still calm and collected. There's no rule that participants have to report their name and sect information, right? If you want to raise the bid, just say it. If you don't dare to come, just withdraw. Why are you being so wishy-washy? Qin Feng opened his mouth leisurely, but everyone was stupefied. The Qin Yuan sect leader, the 2 female disciples, and Chen Hai were so scared that they wanted to run away. This Qin Feng was too ruthless. He didn't give Ice Lake Mountain any face. On the other hand, Dongfang Qin Shui was so anxious that she gnashed her teeth. She cursed Qin Feng to death in her heart. This bastard just loves to act pretentious and doesn't care about the situation at all. Almost all the sects in the outer martial arts world had gathered in the hall. Everyone had different expressions on their faces. Tonight they had truly witnessed what it meant to be awesome. The disciples of Ice Lake Mountain all came behind Elder Qian Huantong. Their bodies exploded with a strong aura. As long as Elder Qian Huantong gave the order, the disciples would kill Qin Feng in the next second. The Elder Qian family was the sect. How long had it been since someone dared to talk back to her? Yun Realm Qian Tian sect, Chen said, after she. Qin. Chen. Yun. 500 million. Ting Yang, I with. Feng Tianling Feng. 500 million, plus 3 orange-grade spiritual weapons. A moment later, the Thousand Illusion Child squeezed out a few words from between his teeth. The Ice Lake sect disciples' faces were cold. Originally, the price of 100 spiritual stones was 300 million and 2 spiritual swords. But now, the price had almost doubled. Qin Feng sighed inwardly. The inner hidden sects were indeed rich in resources. 3 orange-grade spiritual swords were not a small matter, and they also had 500 million. It seemed like they were just playing around. Qin Feng now had Suqin Pharmaceuticals and Royal Group, as well as the Holy Medic Hall, the Divine Armament Hall, and the Qin family in the provincial capital as his backers. Qin Feng didn't fear money at all, and he had the hedonist sovereign system. However, Elder Qian Huantong was obviously against Qin Feng. If this continued, either side would benefit. 600 million and 3 orange-grade spiritual equipment. Qin Feng was prepared to raise the bid a few more times. After all, he was in urgent need of large amounts of spiritual stones. Everyone was shocked by Qin Feng's extravagance. They were all discussing Qin Feng's identity. What kind of sect disciple could have the power to challenge Ice Lake sect? Thousand Illusion Child's face became colder and colder, and his eyes became bloodshot. This woman had delicate skin and looked like an 18-year-old girl, but Qin Feng wasn't fooled by her appearance. This old woman was a seductress who had lived for more than 50 years. She was a shrewd woman. She had lived for a long time. Brat, you really don't know what's good for you. Since that's the case, Ice Lake sect will play with you to the end. I want to see what you can do. Elder Qian Huantong was completely enraged by Qin Feng. He roared, 1 billion and 5 orange-grade spiritual equipment. Whoosh! This price was too shocking. The entire hall was in an uproar. 1 billion and 5 orange-grade spiritual equipment? This price was more than enough to buy 150 high-grade spirit stones. Everyone understood that the Ice Lake Mountain Elder did not care about the bidding price at all. She just wanted to vent her anger. Qin Feng was also shocked. He didn't expect this old woman to be so easily angered. She suddenly became popular. Although Qin Feng could afford this price, he was more rational. He knew that this price was a great loss for him, so he wouldn't continue bidding. He had made up his mind. At most, he would let Ice Lake Mountain buy the spirit stones first, and then he would find a chance to snatch them from the Ice Lake Mountain. TSK. Ice Lake Sect is indeed one of the hidden 5 hegemons. My horizons have been broadened today. Amazing, truly amazing! Qin Feng gave Elder Qian Huantong a thumbs up. This scene confused everyone. They didn't know what Qin Feng meant. Humph! Don't talk so much nonsense. Aren't you very arrogant? Increase the price if you can. No matter how much you increase it, I'll play with you to the end. Qin Feng didn't believe Qian Huanchild's words. This woman was obviously a sinister and vile person. Just as Qin Feng had guessed, Qian Huanchild had already calculated in her heart. She deliberately raised the price so high. As long as Qin Feng raised the price again, Qian Huanchild would immediately withdraw from the auction. She wanted Qin Feng to pay a hefty price. Then, after the treasure appraisal conference, she would kill Qin Feng and rob him. For Ice Lake Mountain, this was something they often played around with. Chapter 1029. As soon as Qin Feng's words fell, everyone was stunned. The disciples of Ice Lake Mountain gaped at Qin Feng's words. Elder Qian Huantong's face turned green. She never thought that Qin Feng would back down. This brat did not play by the rules. What did you say? You're not bidding anymore? Elder Qian Huantong regained her composure after a long while. Qin Feng smiled and said, Yeah. As the great elder of Ice Lake Mountain, you're determined to win this auction. Why should I continue bidding with you? Why don't I do you a favor and take these 100 spirit stones? You've taken advantage of me. If I need your Ice Lake Mountain's land after this, don't say no. Qin Feng's bright smile made Elder Qian Huantong's blood boil. She was so angry that she almost vomited blood. How can you give up the auction? Hurry up and increase the price. How dare you argue with Ice Lake Mountain with such little capability? You're a disgrace. Using 1 billion yuan and 5 orange-grade spiritual weapons to purchase 100 spiritual stones was a losing deal. Elder Qian Huantong wanted to cheat Qin Feng, but she had dug a big hole and jumped into it herself. She was now using all kinds of methods to provoke Qin Feng. If Qin Feng increased the price by 1 cent, Elder Qian Huantong would immediately withdraw from the auction. The crowd sighed in amazement. Everyone understood that Qin Feng was toying with the Grand Elder of Ice Lake Mountain. He even dared to tease Ice Lake Mountain, one of the hidden 5 hegemons. Everyone was shocked speechless by Qin Feng's guts. Don't worry. I won't increase the price. I'm a man of my word. Since I've agreed to give Ice Lake Mountain face, I won't compete with you for the treasure. You should bite yourself. Qin Feng looked at Elder Qian Huantong with a smile. She was so angry that her nose was crooked. Elder Qian Huantong could tell that she had been cheated by this young brat. Ice Lake Mountain had been in the martial arts world for hundreds of years, and this was the first time she had encountered such a humiliating situation. Elder Qian Huantong released a powerful gust of air, as if she was going to attack Qin Feng at any time. Cough, cough! Elder Qian Huan, since this brother has withdrawn from the bidding, the 100 spiritual stones belong to Ice Lake Mountain. Elder Qian Huan, please go through the relevant procedures with the disciples of Star Sect. Ling Dozi had already sensed the murderous aura of the 1,000 illusion child. He could not allow Bing Hushan to act recklessly. This treasure inspection convention was managed by the Starlight Sect. If something really happened, how could the Starlight Sect maintain their reputation in the martial arts world? Moreover, Ling Dozi knew Qin Feng's identity. He still wanted to personally capture Qin Feng after the treasure convention was over. The atmosphere in the hall instantly fell to the bottom, and the surrounding air began to freeze. The disciples of Ice Lake Mountain were furious. Qian Huantong clenched her teeth so hard that they almost broke. But in the end, she released her inner qi and glared at Qin Feng. Then, she turned around and followed the disciples of Starlight Sect to go through the procedures. The moment 1,000 illusion child left, everyone was panting. Everyone was almost suffocated by the aura released by the people from Ice Lake Mountain. Qin Feng did not care about it at all. In fact, he felt a little pleased. Isn't he just one of the 5 hidden hegemons? What's so great about him? The auction continued, but none of the treasures caught Qin Feng's attention. He went to a corner and rested. Once the treasure inspection convention was over, he would secretly follow the people from Ice Lake Mountain and get the 100 spirit stones back to him. Translator's notes. 1. Damn it! That brat is too arrogant. How dare he go against Ice Lake Mountain? Is he tired of living? Elder Qian Huan, we can't let that brat go. Otherwise, Ice Lake Mountain will become a joke in the martial arts world. I've investigated just now. That bastard really hid his identity well. Nobody in this hall knows his identity. Some people said that he is a new disciple of the Azure Moon Shrine. That's bullshit. How dare a disciple of the Azure Moon Shrine offend Ice Lake Mountain? The disciples of Ice Lake Mountain gathered together and complained. Elder Qian Huantong handed over the orange-grade spiritual sword and walked out with the 100 spiritual stones. All of you, shut up! Even now, Thousand Illusion Child was still suppressing a belly full of anger. He directly vented his anger on the group of disciples. The disciples trembled in fear and immediately quieted down. Elder Qian Huantong threw the bag of spiritual stones to one of the disciples and said coldly, "You two, keep an eye on that brat. When the treasure inspection convention is over, I want him to disappear from the face of the earth." The moment Elder Qian Huan Child gave the order, all the Ice Lake Mountain disciples were extremely excited. 2 of them immediately stared at Qin Feng, who was in the corner. They kept their eyes on Qin Feng, afraid that he would run away in the next second. "Are you crazy? Why did you offend the people of Ice Lake Mountain?" Dongfang Qin Shui anxiously ran to Qin Fen and sat opposite him. Qin Fen quickly pushed Dongfang Qin Shui away and said sternly, "Don't come near me. Get away from me." Dongfang Qin Shui was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. She came to Qin Fen out of kindness, but this was his attitude? "Don't touch me. I can walk on my own. You've offended the people of Ice Lake Mountain, so you'll have to collect your own corpse." Dongfang Qin Shui stomped her feet angrily and returned to the crowd of the Blue Moon Observatory. Qin Fen shook his head with a bitter smile. He must be in great danger tonight. That was why he purposely angered Dongfang Qin Shui. Otherwise, he would bring a fatal disaster to this Missy. The auction continued for another 2 hours. The thousands of treasures on the 2 display racks were sold. Ling Dozi stood impatiently in the crowd and shouted, "Heroes of the martial arts world, tonight's treasure inspection convention will end here. There are still 2 more treasure inspection conventions tomorrow and the night after. Those who didn't get any treasures tonight, don't be disappointed. I believe there will be treasures that you'll like tomorrow and the day after." After Ling Dozi finished his speech, the crowd started to disperse. Qin Fen quickly blended into the crowd and walked out. As soon as he moved, he realized that the people of Ice Lake Mountain were following him. Thousands of martial artists swarmed out. The scene was extremely chaotic. Qin Fen blended into the crowd and kept changing his position. However, the disciples of Ice Lake Mountain were all true experts. They followed Qin Fen all the way and were not shaken off. At this time, Qin Fen had reached the open space outside of Chuan Central Restaurant. The moonlight was cold, and the surroundings were gloomy. Qin Fen flew all the way and arrived at the abandoned buildings in Demon City after a few minutes. Bang! A muffled sound came from behind Qin Fen. A small pit appeared on the ground where he had just landed. Following that, an angry voice came from behind. "Stinking brat, how dare you trick your mother? You're courting death!" As soon as the voice died away, a shadow appeared beside Qin Fen. It was the Thousand Illusion Child of Ice Lake Mountain. As for the Stage 8 Inner Chi disciples of Ice Lake Mountain, they were left far behind. Rumble! With no time to think, Qin Fen flipped his hand and shot out a ball of destructive fire. The flame soared and exploded in the gale. It instantly lit up the empty space behind Qin Fen. Humph! Small tricks. Tonight I'll show you the power of Ice Lake Mountain. The Thousand Illusion Child didn't dodge the destructive fire at all. Suddenly, a layer of turbulent inner chi barrier appeared around her. The fireball crashed around her, but it couldn't get close to her. At this time, the playful expression on the Thousand Illusion Child's face suddenly changed. He was shocked. This isn't the flame of a demon cultivator? Could it be the raging true chi fire? You've stepped into the true energy stage? The Thousand Illusion Child and Ling Dozi were both experts at the peak of Stage 9 inner chi. Ling Dozi had underestimated Qin Fen's destructive fire. They saw that Qin Fen was young and obviously couldn't break through the true energy stage. They thought it was the flame released by a demon cultivator. However, the intensity of the flame was so hot that it almost burned the airflow around the Thousand Illusion Child. Raging true chi fire is nothing. Have a taste of this grandpa's flame. Qin Fen clapped his hands and shot out another 3 fireballs. The Thousand Illusion Child's expression changed drastically. She didn't dare to underestimate the power of the destructive fire anymore. She didn't resist it head-on. Her slender figure moved quickly in the dark night. In Qin Fen's eyes, she became a phantom. Her speed was so fast that it was astonishing. Elder Thousand Illusion! Stinking brat, quickly surrender. Kneel on the ground and kowtow to Ice Lake Mountain and admit your mistake. Qin Fen and the Thousand Illusion Child fought several rounds before the genius disciples of Ice Lake Mountain arrived. As soon as they arrived, they started to clamor. Qin Fen didn't say anything and shot a fireball at them. Rumble! The air exploded continuously. The 6 disciples of Ice Lake Mountain sneered. Clearly, they thought that the destructive fire was an ordinary demonic cultivator's fire. 2 of the disciples leaped towards the destructive fire. This scene scared the Thousand Illusion Child so much that he quickly shouted, "Come back! That flame! Rumble!" Before the Thousand Illusion Child could finish his sentence, the destructive fire had already ignited the 2 disciples who rushed toward them. The flame rose to a height of 4 to 5 meters. The 2 disciples couldn't be seen clearly in the flame. Only their heart-wrenching screams could be heard. The remaining 4 disciples who didn't rush toward them were dumbfounded. 5 of them were Stage 8 inner chi experts, and 1 was Stage 9 inner chi expert. The 2 disciples who were burned to death were Stage 8 inner chi experts. These experts were usually arrogant in the martial arts world, but now, they were as weak as ants. Ah! You bastard! How dare you burn the disciples of Ice Lake Mountain to death? I'll skin you alive and pull out your tendons! The Thousand Illusion Child was enraged. He roared and pounced toward Qin Fen. The Thousand Illusion Child was a Stage 9 inner chi expert. His speed was so fast that Qin Fen didn't even have time to react. He was hit in the chest and was sent flying into an abandoned villa. Rumble! As soon as Qin Fen landed, explosions came from all around the villa. The Thousand Illusion Child's graceful and curvaceous figure landed on a roof. She waved her jade-like hands and created hundreds of afterimages like the 1,000-armed guanyin. It was a very strange scene. Bang! 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 Each afterimage seemed to contain a surge of inner chi, and they constantly bombarded the villa. The villa that Qin Fen fell into was reduced to rubble in no time. Bricks, tiles, and rebars were piled up together. The scene was like an earthquake. P.S. I recommend a novel by my friend, Punishing Heaven and Proving Tao. Author, quietly hiding introduction. I've seen people who traveled to another world and became kings because of their golden fingers. But have you seen the overlord of another world who traveled to another world and met a golden finger by chance? As long as you can't think of it, you can do it. As for the introduction? Chapter 1030. Rumble. Loud explosions rang out one after another. This was how the name Thousand Illusion Child came to be. Her 1,000 illusory palm was extremely powerful and fast. Even a Stage 9 inner chi expert would have a headache trying to deal with it. The Ice Lake Mountain disciples stood at the side and didn't even dare to breathe loudly. They still hadn't recovered from the shock of seeing 2 Stage 8 inner chi disciples being burned to death. Just now in the Sichuan restaurant, these Ice Lake Mountain disciples looked down on Qin Feng and thought that he was a rookie. Now, they realized that Qin Feng was an opponent on the same level as Elder Qian Huan. Crackle! Just when everyone thought that Qin Feng had been slapped to death by Elder Qian Huan, a purple light suddenly streaked across the sky. The purple light was much faster than Elder Qian Huan's palm. In the blink of an eye, the purple light condensed into a net and covered Elder Qian Huan's head. Boom! The Ice Lake Mountain disciples cried out in alarm. Before they could warn Elder Qian Huan, they saw Elder Qian Huan being struck by the purple lightning. His porcelain white skin had turned into charcoal. Bang! Bang! The purple lightning fell and was followed by a few more claps of thunder. 3 whip shadows descended from the sky. However, they weren't purple lightning. Instead, they were flickering with blue light. No one knew when Qin Feng had appeared above the Ice Lake Mountain disciples from the ruins. He held the blue spirit snake whip in his hand. The whip shadows turned into a screen and struck 2 of them. Be careful! Everyone be careful! The only Stage 9 energy expert among the disciples leaped and dodged Qin Feng's whip shadows. At the same time, he pulled the stunned disciple to the side. As soon as he landed, the disciple drew the long sword on his back and slashed it in the air. Sword light flashed. The Stage 9 energy disciple had already launched a fierce attack. The other Stage 8 energy disciple also started to assist. Their sword chi temporarily blocked Qin Feng's spirit snake whip. The battle was extremely intense. A black shadow flashed and appeared. The originally cold and arrogant Elder Qian Huan's green robe was now in tatters. More than half of her skin was exposed. She looked extremely alluring. I, Elder Qian Huan, have roamed the martial arts world for dozens of years. I've never been in such a sorry state like today. I swear I won't rest until I kill you today. The Thousand Illusion Child was completely forced into a corner by Qin Feng. He did not care about the exposed spring light on his body and flew towards Qin Feng with his palm. The hundreds of illusory palms turned into 1,000 palms. The Thousand Illusion Palm had been unleashed to the extreme by the Thousand Illusion Child. The surging energy that covered the sky and covered the earth made Qin Feng feel a chill in his heart. The 2 Ice Lake Mountain disciples were scared silly. Rumble! Rumble! Thousands of palms rained down, and most of them hit the ground and abandoned houses. The buildings within a radius of several dozen meters collapsed with a loud rumble, and the ground shook violently. In this area, it was as if there was an earthquake. Qin Feng had no space to hide at all. He was hit by tens of palms and sunk into a large, deep pit. The Thousand Illusion Child had already landed and walked to the edge of the pit. The 2 disciples from Ice Lake Mountain didn't dare to follow. Elder Qian Huan's clothes weren't covering his body. They didn't dare to look at things they shouldn't be looking at. Standing at the edge of the pit, the Thousand Illusion Child looked down and saw Qin Feng lying in the center of the pit. He was vomiting blood. The destructive attack had caused great damage to Qin Feng. He didn't even have the strength to stand up. Humph! I thought you were strong. You're just a Stage 9 energy cultivator. How dare you go against me with this level of strength? I'll make you wish you were dead. The Thousand Illusion Child's eyes were spitting fire. Qin Feng was lying in the pit. He struggled to support his body and said, Stop bragging. You've lost all your clothes after being beaten by me. How dare you embarrass yourself here? Your big rabbit is not bad, and its legs are long and slender. Why don't you come down and let me play with you? Qin Feng couldn't stand an old Taoist nun acting arrogantly in front of him. Even if he couldn't defeat this old hag, he still wanted to anger her to death. Sure enough, the Thousand Illusion Child's long hair fluttered in the wind. His chest rose and fell, and Qin Feng felt refreshed. You want to play with me? Wait another 500 years. Qian Huantong raised his palm angrily, and quickly condensed a ball of energy in his palm. Qin Feng thought of a way to escape as he shouted, It won't take 500 years. I'll say it now. I'll take your body by force within 50 days. Go to hell, you bastard. The Thousand Illusion Child was so angry that his eyeballs were about to explode. He suddenly slammed his palm into the pit. Qin Feng was about to release Ouyang Feng from the pit and teach him a lesson when a black shadow flashed by and dragged Qin Feng into the pit. The black shadow was so fast that it shocked Qin Feng. Even the Thousand Illusion Child couldn't match this speed. This was definitely an expert who surpassed the peak of Stage 9 Inner Qi. Rumble! Qin Feng was dragged dozens of meters away by the black shadow. Only then did Elder Thousand Illusion Child's palm strike land in the deep pit. Loud noises resounded continuously. The huge pit sank a few meters deep. Rocks tumbled down, and it looked like a big black hole. Who are you? How dare you obstruct Ice Lake Mountain's business? Show yourself! The Thousand Illusion Child landed on the roof of a house after the Thousand Illusion Child's palm landed. She was panicking because the black shadow that took Qin Feng away was too fast. Even the Thousand Illusion Child felt that she was no match for the black shadow. I want this brat. Leave now and I'll spare your lives. An aged voice came from the void. The quality of the voice was obviously altered. It sounded like two pieces of metal rubbing against each other, sending chills down one's spine. The Thousand Illusion Child's face was so cold that it was about to drip water. How could she let Qin Feng go? This brat had cheated her tonight, and even verbally harassed her. She wanted nothing more than to hack Qin Feng into 1,000 pieces to vent her anger. Looking in the direction of the sound, Qianhuan Child did not see anyone. The two disciples of Ice Lake Mountain were already trembling with fear. They had thought that their strength was strong enough in the outer martial arts world. Only tonight did they realize how powerful and dangerous the outer martial arts world was. That brat ruined Ice Lake Mountain's business. I'll tear him into 1,000 pieces. You better hand him over or you'll be going against Ice Lake Mountain. Although she was afraid, the Thousand Illusion Child couldn't just retreat. If she did, how would Ice Lake Mountain survive in the outer martial world? Rumble! The mysterious black shadow didn't say anything else. Suddenly, there was a loud noise in the air. No one saw the existence of the shadowy figure, but the attack had already arrived. Thousand Illusion Child's expression changed dramatically, and she hurriedly sent out 1,000 illusion palm to block. But after sending out a dozen palm strikes, she was sent flying by a powerful aura. Pfft! The moment she landed on the ground, the Thousand Illusion Child spat out a mouthful of blood. The two disciples immediately rushed over. Elder Thousand Illusion, are you all right? Elder, why don't we retreat first? It won't be too late to deal with that brat after we get reinforcements. The two disciples were scared. They just wanted to run away. The Thousand Illusion Child was shocked. Although the black shadow only used one palm strike, the Thousand Illusion Child clearly felt the powerful aura. This was no longer the strength of an inner energy stage. It was definitely an expert who had stepped into the true energy stage. Let's go! With the sudden appearance of a true energy stage expert, the Thousand Illusion Child didn't dare to stay here no matter how sullen she was. The three of them quickly ran away. Behind them, the hoarse voice said, If you want to live, leave the spirit stones behind. The three of them were stunned. The Thousand Illusion Child's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Of course, she knew what the black shadow meant by the spirit stones. It was the 100 spirit stones from the auction. The spirit stones were exchanged for 1 billion yuan and 5 orange-grade spiritual weapons. Just thinking about it made her feel sullen. Let's go! After a brief hesitation, the Thousand Illusion Child threw the spirit stones on the ground. Compared to the spirit stones, she valued her life more. If she lost her life, why would she keep the 100 spirit stones to accompany her in death? The wind howled incessantly in the dark night. The Thousand Illusion Child and the other two were extremely fast. In just a few breaths, they completely disappeared into the night. The surroundings fell silent, as if nothing had happened. A black-robed figure with his face covered landed on the ground. He casually threw Qin Feng, who was in his arms, to the side, then reached out to pick up the bag of spirit stones on the ground. Crackle! At this moment, a bolt of purple lightning suddenly struck. It affected the power of heaven and earth as if it was going to split a deep trench in the ground. The person in the black robe who was about to touch the bag of spirit stones suddenly retreated. In the blink of an eye, he had retreated dozens of meters away. Qin Feng suddenly moved, grabbed the bag of spirit stones, and threw it into the emerald ring. Then, he ran towards the depths of the demon city without a moment's delay. Bastard, you're courting death. The elder in the black robe was tricked by Qin Feng. He was so angry that he tore off the black hat on his head. It was a dignified old face. It was the vice leader of the star sect, Ling Tianhai. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The air was filled with the sound of wind breaking. Qin Feng put on the blue-grade white cloud boots and ran like the wind. He ran until his legs were about to break. The black shadow behind him multiplied from 1 to 4. The three of them were still shouting at Qin Feng. Qin Feng, do you think we don't recognize you? I advise you to surrender. The two elders and the vice leader of the star sect are here to catch you. You can't escape today even if you have wings. Ling Tianhai, Ling Yangzi, and Ling Shui, and Ling Daozi were all here. Among the four of them, 3 were at the peak of stage 9 inner Qi, and Ling Tianhai was an expert at the true Qi stage. Qin Feng panicked. Even if he released Ouyang Feng and Shimen Chui Shui, they might not be able to defeat these 4 people. After all, Qin Feng was seriously injured just now. Bang! 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 The sound of wind breaking became louder and louder. Ling Tianhai increased his speed. He was like an arrow that left the bow, so fast that it shocked Qin Feng. The white cloud boots had pushed Qin Feng's speed to the limit, but he still couldn't outrun Ling Tianhai. Just as he was about to be caught by Ling Tianhai, a gust of cold wind suddenly blew, and the aura of hundreds of spirits shrouded them. Master, I'll stop them. You run! Chapter 1031. Qin Feng was anxious. He was afraid that Shaoli would appear at this time. Shaoli, run! Don't worry about me! Qin Feng roared and continued to accelerate forward. Shaoli's lonely and slender figure remained where she was, staring motionlessly at the rapidly approaching Ling Tianhai. Whoosh whoosh! The chilly wind whistled past his ears, and the originally strong winds of the night suddenly blew up into a hurricane. The chilly wind quickly condensed, and like a tornado, it blew towards Ling Tianhai. The surrounding area was filled with the spirits summoned by Shaoli, and the yin qi in this area was dense, as if they had fallen into hell. You dare to chase after Master? Shaoli will fight with you! Shaoli roared. Her appearance had completely changed. Her waist-length hair hung on top of her head, her eyes were blood red, and her entire body emitted a chilling aura. The chilly wind seemed to have turned black, devouring the light and the surroundings. In just a few breaths' time, the chilly wind formed a whirlpool that spun like a black hole, destroying the surrounding abandoned villas. Everyone be careful, this woman's cultivation method is very strange. Ling Tianhai's footsteps became sluggish and slowed down. Shaoli was a ghost cultivator, an extremely rare type of cultivator in the cultivation world. Even for Ling Tianhai, it was his first time fighting a ghost cultivator. Even though he was a true Qi stage expert, he didn't dare to act blindly without thinking. Ling Tianhai and the other 3 stopped in front of the black hurricane. Seeing the hurricane approaching, the 4 of them were a little nervous. The yin qi around them became denser and denser. The thousands of silver soul qi enveloped the 4 of them. They felt the same as when Qin Feng encountered spirits for the first time. Shaoli, run! Qin Feng realized that Shaoli hadn't left halfway, so he quickly pulled her back. Master, leave quickly, don't worry about Shaoli. It's enough to know Master and be Master's maid in this life. Shaoli was a stage 6 imp, which corresponded to the realm of orthodox stage 6 inner Qi cultivators. However, ghost cultivators were rarer and more powerful than devil cultivators and evil cultivators. Therefore, when Shaoli erupted, she could even suppress a stage 8 inner Qi martial artist. With a single glance, Shaoli could tell that Ling Tianhai and the other 3 were all top-notch experts. She knew that Qin Feng was doomed this time. Shaoli was determined to sacrifice her life to buy more time for her master. This was the only way she could repay Qin Fin. What nonsense are you talking about? Come with me! Qin Feng pulled Shaoli along and ran. Shaoli began to struggle with tears in his eyes. Master, please let Shaoli help you. Otherwise, we'll both die. Qin Feng's voice was cold as he roared. You don't even listen to your master? If we die together, then we die together. I can't just watch you die alone, right? Qin Feng circulated his inner qi, stepped on the white cloud boots, and dragged Shaoli along as he ran. Ever since Shaoli started cultivating the Ghost Cultivator's secret manual after her death, her heart had been sealed in ice. It had been a long time since she felt her heart beating, but at this moment, her heart was racing and her body was boiling hot. Tears streamed down Shaoli's cheeks like raindrops. Her heart was indescribably touched. Qin Feng's words of, "If we die together," made Shaoli firmly believe that she had followed the right person. Master, I'm more familiar with this area. I'll bring you there. Shaoli quickly calmed down. His figure flashed, and his speed was the same as Qin Feng's white cloud boots. He was already leading the way. Shaoli, you're running so fast. Qin Feng was speechless. His current strength was at the early stage of Stage 9 inner qi, and his speed could reach the middle stage of Stage 9 inner qi. With the addition of the blue-grade white cloud boots, Qin Feng could even reach the late stage of Stage 9 inner qi. However, Shaoli, a mere Stage 6 Ghost Cultivator, was able to catch up to Qin Feng. Master, we Ghost Cultivators are special. We specialize in speed. Since our bodies are the weakest, we can only win in speed. Shaoli explained to Qin Feng as she pulled Qin Feng and ran. Their current speed was like 6 sports cars at 200 kilometers per hour. Every time they made a left or right turn, it was like they were drifting. Vice Sect Leader Tianhai, there are too many small twists and turns in this area. That woman is obviously very familiar with this area. We can't keep chasing like this. Ling Dozi and the others were gradually being tricked. Ling Dozi shouted with a cold expression. Ling Tianhai also realized this disadvantage. Under Shaoli's lead, Qin Feng and Shaoli always overtook the small paths. Every time Ling Tianhai was about to catch up to them, he would suddenly be shaken off by a sharp turn. This area must be connected. Let's split up and we'll definitely be able to block those two. Ling Tianhai was not stupid, so he quickly came up with a plan. As soon as he finished speaking, the 4 of them split up and prepared to surround Qin Feng and Shaoli. Master, it seems like they've been shaken off. Shaoli's breathing was somewhat rapid after running in the dark for an unknown amount of time. Qin Feng had just been injured, so he had to eat medicinal pills to support his body. If they continued to run like this, even Qin Feng wouldn't be able to bear it. It seems like only that true Qi stage old man is behind them. The other 3 have been shaken off. Qin Feng glanced behind him. He could still vaguely see Ling Tianhai's figure, but he couldn't see Ling Dozi and the 2 Star Sect elders. Both of them heaved a sigh of relief. Just as they were about to slow down and rest, Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. He carried Shaoli and leaped into the small path beside them. Bang! A loud sound exploded at the place where Shaoli had just been standing. A huge and deep pit appeared on the ground. Following that, Ling Dozi's figure flickered over. He brandished a long sword and said, Qin Feng, let's not waste any more time. Let's launch a sneak attack and I'll leave your corpses intact. Bang, bang, bang. Along the way, sword lights flashed. As soon as Qin Feng and Shaoli's feet left the ground, a small pit exploded on the ground. Shaoli was so angry that her entire body turned gloomy and cold. That violent chilly wind blew again and directly formed a hurricane behind the 2 of them. Ling Dozi's figure fell into the hurricane, and his vision became blurry. How could he continue to attack? Rumble! As soon as they ran out of the alley, Qin Feng hurriedly sent out a palm strike. 2 balls of destructive fire lit up the sky. The Star Sect elder leaped and dodged the fireball, and at the same time, sent a palm strike towards Shaoli. Be careful! While Qin Feng shouted, he had already pushed Xiaoli away. That violent palm strike landed on Qin Feng's back. Qin Feng opened his mouth, and a large mouthful of blood fell onto the ground. Xiaoli was so frightened that she immediately cried. Master, are you all right? Qin Feng had just been injured by Thousand Illusion Child, and now, he was struck by a Stage 9 Inner Chi expert's palm strike. His body couldn't take it anymore, and his eyelids drooped heavily. Qin Feng touched Xiaoli's face and wiped away her tears. He said, Don't let them catch you. Hurry up and leave. Live well! As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Feng fainted. A monstrous flame of anger ignited in Xiaoli's heart. However, she couldn't risk her life to fight Ling Tianhai and the others. She still had to save Qin Feng. Whoosh! Xiaoli turned her grief and anger into speed. She carried Qin Feng on her back and sped away. Dust flew up from the ground as if a sports car had sped past. Sect leader Tianhai, Qin Feng has been knocked out. The woman is with me! Ling Yangzi shouted. The sound wave spread rapidly. In just a few breaths' time, Ling Dozi and the other two arrived. The four of them turned into four black shadows and chased after Xiaoli. Xiaoli's speed was so fast that it was dazzling. However, the four people she faced were too powerful. Ling Tianhai was slowly approaching Xiaoli. Seeing that she was about to be caught by Ling Tianhai, Xiaoli gritted her teeth and suddenly changed her path. After running for less than a minute, the surroundings became more and more desolate. It was as if she had entered a deep mountain area. Master, Xiaoli tried her best, but I couldn't save Master. Then let's die together. Whoosh! The air was filled with the sound of explosions. Xiaoli's beautiful figure turned into a flying arrow. The road under her feet suddenly became empty. Beneath her feet was a bottomless pitch-black cliff. Ling Tianhai, who was the first to catch up, suddenly braked and stopped at the edge of the cliff. He watched as two pieces of rock fell down. Be careful, there's a cliff in front! Ling Tianhai hastily shouted to the three people who rushed after him. The two elders stopped in time. Half of Ling Dozi's body was hanging outside the cliff, but he was still pulled back to the shore by Ling Tianhai. Looking at the bottomless cliff, Ling Dozi's back was covered with a layer of cold sweat. If he fell down, he would definitely be smashed to pieces. Sect leader Tianhai, what should we do now? Ling Dozi asked after everyone stared at the bottom of the cliff in silence. Ling Tianhai's expression was somewhat cold. He was very unhappy that he couldn't kill Qin Feng with his own hands. If this brat died, then so be it. Why did he have to jump off the cliff with 100 spirit stones? What a waste of resources. Humph! They will definitely die if they fall from this cliff unless they have wings. Since this brat is dead, we don't have to worry about the martial arts circle convention this time. Let's go back and help Ling Fei break through to the middle stage of Stage 9 Inner Chi. That way, the martial arts circle master will belong to our Starlight sect again. The reason why Ling Tianhai and the two great elders of the Star sect left the mountain and rushed to Devil City was because they learned of Qin Feng's strength. There was an expert who was comparable to the peak of Stage 9 Inner Chi in Devil City. Moreover, he was below the age of 35. This was a major event that prevented the Star sect from becoming the chancellor of the martial circle. Now that Qin Feng was dead, everyone's apprehension disappeared. This brat is really lucky. I originally wanted to capture him and personally skin him alive. Ling Dozi fiercely spat at the bottom of the cliff. A few days ago, Qin Feng had caused him to be battered and exhausted in front of all the martial artists outside. Ling Dozi hated Qin Feng even more. The four of them stood at the edge of the cliff for a while. After making sure that Qin Feng and the woman didn't come up, they transformed into four black shadows and disappeared into the night. Xiaoli, where are we? Why do I feel like we're falling? Qin Feng suddenly woke up from the rapid fall. Then, he was stunned. Was he jumping off the cliff? Ouyang Feng, come out! Chapter 1032. Xiaoli heard Qin Feng shout, but she didn't understand what Qin Feng was shouting. She suddenly hugged Qin Feng tightly and even kissed him. Xiaoli thought that she and Qin Feng were going to die, and she wanted to give her first kiss to the person she loved before she died. Woo woo! Xiaoli, what are you doing? Qin Feng jumped in shock and gently pushed Xiaoli away. Xiaoli didn't care and hugged Qin Feng again. This time, she even took the initiative to French kiss, but it was clearly a bit stiff. Qin Feng's feet landed on the ground, and he immediately pushed Xiaoli away. Let's not think about love now. I have to quickly forge the flying sword and kill my way back to take revenge. Time was of the essence, and Qin Feng didn't have time to waste. Once the treasure inspection fair ended in the next 2 days, the Martial Circle convention would follow. Qin Feng still had the Martial Circle Alliance Master mission, so he had to forge the Starry Sky flying sword in these 2 days and strive to break through his realm. Xiaoli gradually woke up from her daze. She widened her eyes and looked at her surroundings in astonishment. This was the bottom of a cliff, and there were cliffs all around. There was also a waterfall flowing down. Below them was a grassy plain with many flowers and plants. It was simply a holy land for cultivation and living in seclusion. Master, we didn't die. Xiaoli was stunned and suddenly changed her words. I know, could this be heaven? Master, we actually went to heaven after we died. Seeing Xiaoli jumping up and down in a silly manner, Qin Feng patted her head and smiled. Nonsense, we didn't die. This is the bottom of a cliff, and we are living well. Ouyang Feng greets Master. Ouyang Feng waited until Qin Feng and Xiaoli finished speaking before coming over to greet him. Xiaoli suddenly blocked in front of Qin Feng and a murderous look immediately appeared on her face. Master, be careful, there are people at the bottom of this valley. Qin Feng was amused by Xiaoli. He reached out and hugged Xiaoli's snake demon and pulled her into his embrace. Don't be afraid, this is a friend of mine. He was the one who saved us. Xiaoli lay in Qin Feng's embrace. That warm embrace made Xiaoli unwilling to leave. This is Master's friend? Why is he here? Could it be that he lives in this valley? Xiaoli couldn't understand. Qin Feng smiled and didn't explain because he couldn't explain Ouyang Feng's background. Ouyang Feng, stand guard around me. I'm going to focus on refining my flying sword for the next 2 days. Don't let anyone disturb me. Qin Feng instructed Ouyang Feng. After thinking for a bit, he released Shimen Chui Shui as well. When Xiaoli saw the white-clothed cool-looking youth suddenly appear at the bottom of the valley, she screamed in fright again. Even she, a ghost cultivator, was stunned by Qin Feng's miraculous methods. With Ouyang Feng and Shimen Chui Shui protecting him, Qin Feng did not have to worry at all. He also looked down at the cliff. It was so deep that he could not see the bottom. He believed that Ling Tianhai and the others would not come down at all. They must have thought that he had fallen to his death. Qin Feng pulled Xiaoli around and finally found a place to sit at the foot of a mountain. Qin Feng said a few words to Xiaoli before he entered the hedonist sovereign system. Master! Little Pig and Pikachu leaped onto Qin Feng's shoulders. Qin Feng's escape from death scared the 2 pets. They kept rubbing Qin Feng's face with their little heads, tickling Qin Feng and making him laugh out loud. Pikachu, how is Ro after she disappeared? Qin Feng thought of Su Ro when he saw Pikachu. Pikachu said a lot, but Qin Feng did not understand. In the end, it was Little Pig who translated. Master, Pikachu said that Mistress Su Ro has been staying in the Serenity sect to cultivate. However, that man called Ling Fei has been pestering Su Ro. After Master refines the flying sword, you must teach him a good lesson. Qin Feng had not liked Ling Fei for a long time. He gritted his teeth and prepared to kill all the elders and disciples of the Starlight sect after the flying sword was refined. After messing around with the 2 little guys for a while, Qin Feng entered the forging interface. This was a place specially for forging spiritual weapons. The purple thunder wild robe that Qin Feng wore was forged here. In front of him was a huge forging furnace. Qin Feng clapped his hands and dozens of materials for forging the Starry Sky flying sword entered the furnace. Black rock sand, purple crystal, yuan meteor stone, heaven and earth vital stone, these were the materials that Qin Feng had collected over the past few months. Now, with the addition of the Saint Soulstone, he had gathered all the materials for the Starry Sky Flying Sword. Rumble! After all the materials entered the furnace, Qin Feng clapped his hands and a ball of destructive fire rose a few meters high from the bottom of the furnace. It was as if it was going to swallow the entire forging path. The refining process was relatively slow. Qin Feng had to constantly control the intensity of the destructive fire. From time to time, he had to add some spirit stones to maintain sufficient spiritual energy during the refining process. The cauldron slowly rose into the air and rotated at a constant speed in the void. The destructive fire raged ceaselessly. The 100 or so spirit stones around Qin Feng were reduced piece by piece. Before long, he had refined more than 50 spirit stones. Although Qin Feng had been sitting motionlessly during the process of refining the flying sword, this was a task that tested his mental strength. He had only persisted for 6 hours, but Qin Feng was already drenched in sweat. His head was starting to buzz, and he felt like he would faint at any moment. Qin Feng gulped down all kinds of refreshing pills as if they were rice. The small mountain of spirit stones beside him also decreased rapidly. Another 6 hours passed. Qin Feng had refined from night to day. He felt that his body had reached its limit, and there were only about 20 spirit stones left beside him. Rumble. After an unknown amount of time, the furnace finally let out a loud noise that hadn't been heard for a long time. The noise was earth-shattering. It was as if a bolt of lightning had struck the valley. Wei Yan's precipitous cliff shook violently, and a lot of rocks tumbled down. "Master, be careful!" Shaoli didn't sleep for the whole night. She kept an eye on Qin Feng's condition. In the middle of the night, when Qin Feng was sweating profusely, Shaoli would help him wipe his body. Now that he saw the huge change in the valley, Shaoli was so frightened that he hurriedly lay on Qin Feng's body to help him block the falling rocks. Rumble! The loud noises continued, and the rocks fell like rain. Qin Feng, who had been sitting cross-legged, suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes shone brightly. He raised his hand, and a pink ray of light shot out from his palm. An exquisite short sword soared into the sky like a dragon emerging from the sea, bringing with it the power of heaven and earth. Whoosh! 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 The sound of the cosmic flying sword slicing the rocks came from above. The huge rocks on the cliff were extremely hard, but they were like soft tofu under the cosmic flying sword. Tap! 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 Bits and pieces of debris fell and surrounded Qin Feng and Shaoli. The falling rocks were all sliced into fine sand by the cosmic flying sword. In a short while, the area around the two of them was reduced to a small sand dune. The shocking scene shocked Shaoli so much that she couldn't speak. "Master, your sword is so powerful!" Shaoli stared at Qin Feng with her mouth agape. Qin Feng raised his head proudly. His heart was filled with excitement. The cosmic flying sword was successfully refined. "Ah? Shaoli, why am I naked?" Qin Feng's proud mood lasted for a few seconds. Suddenly, he felt a chill run down his spine. He looked down and was shocked. Shaoli suddenly became shy. Her beautiful eyes inadvertently glanced at Qin Feng's thighs. "Master, last night I saw you sweating all over, so I took off your clothes and helped you wipe." After all, Qin Feng hadn't done anything with Shaoli, so he felt a bit awkward. When he looked down and saw little Qin Feng soaring into the sky, Qin Feng felt even more awkward. Turn around. I'll put on my clothes," Qin Feng said. Shaoli blushed. She got up and brought the washed clothes over. "Master, the clothes are already dry. Shaoli will help you put them on." Qin Feng wanted to refuse, but Shaoli had already started. This girl really didn't avoid it. She really helped Qin Feng put on his clothes. She even helped him put on his underwear. After putting on his clothes, Qin Feng didn't do anything. A hint of disappointment flashed in Shaoli's eyes. She thought Qin Feng would pounce on her. "Master, congratulations! The flying sword is complete!" Once the flying sword is out, who can compete with it? Ouyang Feng and Shimen Chui Shui sensed the change and rushed over. They raised their heads and looked at the pink figure flying back and forth in the sky. Their eyes flickered with envy. Swish! Qin Feng made a grabbing motion in the air. The cosmic flying sword instantly flew into Qin Feng's hand as if it had a mind of its own. Only then did everyone see the appearance of the cosmic flying sword. It was a short sword that was half a meter long. Its entire body was emitting a strange pink glow. The blade was exquisite and beautiful. There were a few stars carved on it. There were also a few pink auspicious clouds on the hilt. The entire sword was filled with boundless spiritual energy. Wow! Master, what grade is this spiritual weapon? This is my first time seeing it. Why do I feel like this sword is alive? Shaoli stared at the cosmic flying sword for a while and couldn't help but exclaim. Ouyang Feng and Shimen Chui Shui yearned for the cosmic flying sword. With the flying sword, Qin Feng could control the sword to fly and kill people. That was something that even true Qi experts would find difficult to do. This is a rare pink equipment. It's a grade higher than a purple equipment spiritual weapon. Qin Feng didn't hide it from Shaoli. After Shaoli jumped off the cliff, Qin Feng completely trusted this maid. Pink equipment spiritual weapon? Master is really amazing. Shaoli admired Qin Feng from the bottom of her heart. She had been wandering in the martial arts world for a period of time. She had seen martial artists using blue-grade spiritual equipment. Shaoli had never seen a purple-grade spiritual equipment before. Now, she had seen a pink-grade flying sword. Qin Feng was extremely excited after he refined the flying sword. He grabbed Shaoli's slim waist and leaped into the air. Whoosh! Shaoli felt her feet stepping on something. Then, her body fell backward due to inertia. The wind whistled past her ears. The scenery of the valley changed every second. Shaoli only regained her senses after a long time. She discovered that she was actually flying. Wow! Awesome! It's even more awesome than riding the flaming golden eagle! Qin Feng screamed in the valley. His voice echoed throughout the valley. Chapter 1033. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for successfully forging the galaxy flying sword and replenishing the limited items in the hedonist sovereign system. The system rewards host Qin Feng 100,000 hedonist points. Host Qin Feng has a total of 380,000 hedonist points. Ding! The hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest, Revenge Quest. Kill the Star Sect members who came to participate in the Martial Arts Conference, and retaliate. Quest time limit, 10 days. If the quest is completed, the system will reward host Qin Feng 50,000 hedonist points, and an immortal pill. If the quest is failed, 100,000 hedonist points will be deducted and the galaxy flying sword will be taken back. The system notification rang in Qin Feng's mind. Qin Feng stared at the 380,000 hedonist points, and wondered how he should spend them. Activating the star technology interface required 500,000 hedonist points, which was obviously not enough. However, he could upgrade the Silver Alliance to the Gold Alliance. That way, he could use the function of the space-time door and transfer items to the Hero Alliance members. Qin Feng thought for a while and decided not to do it right away. He forged the galaxy flying sword and flew on it excitedly. Master, we're really flying? Master's treasured sword is so powerful! Shaoli flew for a while before she regained her senses. She looked at the lingering clouds beneath her feet and the valley waterfall flying behind her. She still found it hard to accept. Qin Feng hugged Shaoli's slender waist. His body heated up when he heard Shaoli's meaningful words. Was the treasured sword Shaoli mentioned the galaxy flying sword or some other great treasured sword? Master, Shaoli wants to do it with you. While Qin Feng's imagination ran wild, Shaoli suddenly threw herself into Qin Feng's arms. In this dreamy moment, she wanted to have 300 rounds with Qin Feng. Qin Feng felt the softness of Shaoli's body, but he managed to maintain his rationality. There were too many women around Qin Feng, and he felt that he had to be responsible for Xiaoli. At least, Qin Feng didn't have any other feelings for Xiaoli at the moment, so he didn't want to dominate her. "Don't move, or you might fall from the flying sword." Qin Feng gently pushed Xiaoli away. A trace of disappointment flashed through Xiaoli's eyes, but she didn't act recklessly. After flying for a while, the two of them returned to the bottom of the valley. Shimin Chui Shui and Ouyang Feng watched Qin Feng fly from the bottom of the valley. Their eyes were filled with yearning, and they complained that they weren't beauties. Then, their master would bring them to experience the wonders of the flying sword. "Xiaoli, how long have we been here?" After Qin Feng landed on the ground, the starry sky flying sword under his feet disappeared. Xiaoli's eyes widened as he looked around Qin Feng's body. He did not know where the flying sword had gone. "Master, we have already stayed at the bottom of the valley for a day and a night. The martial arts tournament will be held the day after tomorrow," Little Li said. Qin Feng nodded. Time was a bit tight. Now that Qin Feng had taken out his flying sword, he felt that he could kill a stage 9 inner Qi expert with his flying sword. However, there was a true Qi stage expert from the Starlight sect. Qin Feng planned to use this one day and one night to improve his strength. Ouyang Feng and Shimin Chui Shui continued to protect him. Xiaoli stayed by Qin Feng's side to take care of him. After refining the flying sword, Qin Feng was left with more than 20 spirit stones. He immediately set up a small spirit gathering formation and sat in the small circle formed by the 20 spirit stones. The surrounding spiritual energy continuously flowed into Qin Feng's body, turning the area around him into a holy land for cultivation. Qin Feng had already started cultivating with full concentration. Xiaoli widened her eyes in astonishment as she looked at the changes in the surrounding spiritual energy. The longer she stayed by Qin Feng's side, the more astonished she became. This master of hers was simply too powerful. He knew all kinds of spells and magic formations. Xiaoli's ghost cultivation didn't require spiritual energy to cultivate. Therefore, the majestic spiritual energy gathered by the small spirit gathering formation was all absorbed by Qin Feng. While Qin Feng absorbed the spiritual energy, he also threw all kinds of medicinal pills into his mouth. After staying in the early stage of stage 9 inner Qi for a long time, Qin Feng's dantian felt slightly inflated. With the help of the spirit gathering formation, he spent 18 hours cultivating. Suddenly, a loud noise came from Qin Feng's body. The valley shook again, and the sky changed drastically as if a rainstorm was about to fall. Cultivation was an act that defied the heavens. The higher the level of cultivation, the stronger the hindrance of the heavenly Tao. Qin Feng's breakthrough to stage 9 inner Qi caused a thunderstorm to descend from the heavens. However, this kind of heavenly tribulation was nothing to Qin Feng. Qin Feng leaped into the sky and dashed through the valley. Ouyang Feng and the other two looked up and saw a flash of pink light. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng had traveled hundreds of meters. Loud noises resounded in the valley. Qin Feng casually swung his sword a few times, and the towering mountain peaks seemed to have exploded. Huge rocks rolled down from the mountainside. It was as magnificent as a mudslide. "Ha ha! Awesome! Now I'll have my revenge!" Qin Feng was pleasantly surprised when he sensed the strength of the middle stage of stage 9 inner Qi. The combination of the middle stage of stage 9 inner Qi and the cosmic flying sword increased Qin Feng's strength by more than 10 times. He felt that if he fought with Ling Dozi now, he could kill that ant within 10 moves. Qin Feng thought of Elder Qian Huan Tong of Ice Lake Mountain. This old Taoist nun had beaten Qin Feng up badly 2 days ago. Her 1,000 phantom palms was indeed powerful and even more violent than Ling Dozi's. However, Qin Feng was no longer afraid of that old woman. If Elder Qian Huan Tong was standing next to Qin Feng would have pierced her body with his sword. "Master! You're so powerful! I can feel that you've reached the true energy stage." Xiaoli looked at Qin Feng, who had landed on the ground, and danced with joy. When she was controlled by the ghastly face evil king, she had seen the strength of the ghastly face evil king. The ghastly face evil king was a level 9 evil cultivator, but it was equivalent to an expert of the true Qi stage. And the few sword moves that Qin Feng had just displayed made Shaoli feel as if she had seen the majesty of the ghastly face evil king. The torrential rain had soaked everyone's clothes. Shaoli was wearing a long, white dress that stuck to her body. She never wore any undergarments under her dress, so her impressive body was clearly visible. Even Qin Feng felt a bit restless. Master, Shaoli is a little cold. Shaoli saw the passion in Qin Feng's eyes. She suddenly threw herself into Qin Feng's arms. A softness pressed against his chest. Qin Feng almost pushed Shaoli over. Shaoli, I'm going to take care of business. Are you going to wait for me here or come with me? Qin Feng calmed down. He had been suppressed by Ice Lake Mountain and Starlight Sect for the past few days. Now that he had his flying sword, he wanted to kill to his heart's content. Recently, Shaoli took the initiative to seduce Qin Feng more frequently because she realized that her love for Qin Feng was getting deeper and deeper, to the point where she couldn't extricate herself. After being rejected by Qin Feng again, Shaoli was extremely shy. She even doubted her beauty. Could it be that Master didn't like her? Shaoli suddenly lowered her head and stopped talking. Of course, Qin Feng knew what she was thinking. He hugged her slender waist and leaped onto his flying sword. Don't think too much. I'll take you with me. I don't feel at ease leaving you alone in the valley. There's still a long way to go. Love will come. Qin Feng had already recalled Ouyang Feng and Shimin Chuixue back into the system. Then, he said some meaningful words. Shaoli's originally depressed mood gradually warmed up. She lay in Qin Feng's arms and stared at Qin Feng with her big eyes. Qin Feng flew straight to the top of the mountain on his flying sword. Along the way, he was embarrassed by Shaoli's stare. 2 days ago, they were forced to jump off the cliff. Now that they stood on the cliff and looked down at the bottomless valley, their hearts were filled with emotions. Old dogs from Starlight Sect, I'm here to collect your corpses. And that old hag from Ice Lake Mountain, I said I'll play with you in 50 days. I'll play with you. Qin Feng stood at the edge of the cliff and roared. Shaoli blushed. Why would Master play with that old Taoist nun instead of me? Master, where are we going now? Shaoli looked at Qin Feng and asked. It's getting late. Let's go look for Qin Shui first. I wonder what happened in Devil City while I was gone for a few days. Qin Feng was not blinded by the flames of revenge. Now that he had the flying sword in his hand and had broken through to the middle stage of Stage 9 Inner Qi, he didn't care about the martial artists in Devil City at all. Revenge was just a matter of time. Qin Feng planned to protect a few important people before he went on a killing spree. The two of them sped all the way and quickly arrived at the Chuanzhong restaurant. Although it was already late at night, the Chuanzhong restaurant was still bustling with people. When they saw Qin Feng and Shaoli walk in, all the customers stopped what they were doing and looked at Qin Feng as if they had seen a ghost. Qin Feng had already returned to his original appearance. Is there something wrong with my eyes? Young Hero Qin? I saw young Hero Qin. It's Senior Green Wolf. The little beauty beside him was also at the competition. Senior Green Wolf is back. Young Hero Qin Feng is back at this time. The martial arts circle convention tomorrow will be interesting. Qin Fen's appearance immediately caused the crowd to become restless. Ever since Qin Fen had disappeared after his battle with Ling Dozi 5 days ago, he had never appeared again. Everyone thought that Qin Fen had been injured and could not participate in the martial arts circle convention this time. This caused the disciples of the outer hidden sects to feel somewhat disappointed. If Qin Fen did not come, who would support the outer hidden sects? The entire hall was in an uproar. These outer hidden sect disciples were about to go crazy. As if he didn't hear these people's discussion, Qin Feng pulled Shaoli's hand and walked upstairs. The martial artists in the hall immediately opened up a path and looked at Qin Feng with reverence. This young man was only in his early 20s, but he was an amazing person who could fight against Ling Dozi, who was at the peak of Stage 9 Inner Qi. Qin Feng went all the way to the third floor and knocked on the door of the Blue Moon Observatory's room. Young hero Qin Feng? Are you alright? The person who opened the door was a female disciple of the Blue Moon Observatory. When she saw Qin Feng, she covered her mouth and cried out in surprise. Sect leader Qin Yuan heard the commotion and rushed over. Another female disciple and Chen Hai also came over. Chapter 1034. Sect leader Qin Yuan, I'm fine now. I'm here to look for Dong Fang Qin Shui. Why isn't she here? Qin Feng had already walked into the room. He scanned the room, but didn't see any trace of Dong Fang Qin Shui. Sect Master Qin Yuan's expression was a bit anxious. Young hero Qin Feng, Qin Shui went out this afternoon and hasn't returned. I was just about to bring my disciples to find her, but I didn't think you'd come. Qin Feng raised his eyebrows. He had a bad feeling. Why didn't you call Qin Shui? I called her a few times, but her phone was turned off. Sect leader Qin Yuan was in a dilemma. She knew Qin Feng was Dong Fang Qin Shui's fiancé. Qin Feng was the Azure Dragon of China's 9 dragons. 5 days ago, he defeated the Martial Arts Alliance Master, Ling Dozi. Sect leader Qin Yuan did not dare to offend such a powerful person. Something must have happened to Qin Shui. Did she say where she was going when she went out this afternoon? Tell me if you have any other clues. Qin Feng became anxious. Dong Fang Qin Shui had always lived in the provincial capital, so her phone would not be turned off for no reason. Sect leader Qin Yuan and the others also realized the severity of the situation. The 2 female disciples were so anxious that they walked around in circles. Chen Hai had yelled at Qin Feng before, but after witnessing Qin Feng's strength 5 days ago, he didn't even dare to raise his head when he saw Qin Feng. Oh! I went out this afternoon and saw that elder of Ice Lake Mountain chatting with junior sister Qin Shui. I was puzzled at that time because Qin Shui didn't know the female elder of Ice Lake Mountain, but she didn't ask. One of the female disciples suddenly exclaimed. This clue made Qin Feng's eyes light up. He could roughly guess that Ice Lake Mountain's 1000 illusion child must have taken Dong Fang Qin Shui as a hostage. Young hero Qin Feng, where are you going? Seeing that Qin Feng was about to leave, the clear distance sect master hurriedly followed after him. Do you need our help? Qin Feng waved his hand. With the strength of these people from the Blue Moon Observatory, going to Ice Lake Mountain would be a waste. Instead, they would become Qin Feng's burden. Wait for my news here. I'll be back soon. Qin Feng pulled Shaoli along and walked all the way to the 5th floor. The 4th and 5th floors of the Zhongchuan restaurant were all guest rooms. However, the higher the floor, the better the facilities and environment of the guest rooms. Normally, only relatively famous large sects in the martial arts world could fight for a spot on these 2 floors. The 20 over rooms on the 5th floor were basically all occupied by the members of the Inner Secret Order. Stinking brat, which sect are you from? Why haven't I seen you before? This is the sacred land of the 5th floor. Trash from the Outer Secret Order is not allowed to enter. As soon as Qin Feng pulled Shaoli to the staircase leading to the 5th floor, the 2 guards started yelling at Qin Feng. Both of them were disciples of the Inner Hidden Sect. The Inner Hidden Sect disciples were very arrogant, and they had only arrived a few days before the Treasure Convention. They didn't know about the battle between Qin Feng and Ling Dozi 5 days ago, so they didn't recognize Qin Feng. How dare you yell at Master? Scram! Shaoli shouted angrily. Suddenly, a gust of chilly wind surged from his body as he slapped out with his palm. The 2 guards were both Stage 8 Inner Qi martial artists. Their faces darkened as they attacked Shaoli together. Humph! You don't know what's good for you, you stinking brat. Watch how I teach you a lesson. This girl is so pretty. Knock her out and drag her into the room. Shaoli could barely fight a Stage 8 Inner Qi martial artist alone, let alone 2. Her Yin Qi was immediately suppressed by the inner Qi of the 2 martial artists. Shaoli was so anxious that her expression changed drastically. Bang! Bang! Just as one of the guards was about to grab Shaoli's delicate arm, Qin Feng suddenly waved his hand and slapped both of them away. With a raise of his hand, 2 Stage 8 inner Qi martial artists fell to the ground and vomited blood. His strength scared the 2 martial artists half to death. When they saw Qin Feng walk over with a cold expression, they immediately begged for mercy. "Great hero, we have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Please spare our lives, great hero. Great hero, we won't do it again." Bang! Qin Feng stomped on the leg of one of the guards. With a crack, the guard's thigh broke, and he fainted from the pain. The remaining guard was drenched in cold sweat. His body trembled uncontrollably, and he couldn't even speak. "Tell me, where does the old hag of Ice Lake Mountain live?" Qin Feng glared at the guard and yelled. The guard was stunned. He was trying to guess who the old hag of Ice Lake Mountain was. After a while, the guard immediately said, Is it Elder Qian Huan? She lives in the room on the right at the end of the corridor. Great hero, please spare my life. I really. After the guard finished speaking, he immediately begged for mercy. Qin Feng raised his foot and stomped on the Stage 8 inner Qi disciple as if he was stepping on an ant. Shaoli was mesmerized by Qin Feng's domineering and handsome appearance. With a silly expression on her face, she was dragged into the corridor by Qin Feng. Master, are we going to kill our way in like this? When they reached the end of the corridor, and Qin Feng was about to kick the door, Shaoli suddenly became worried. Shaoli knew Qin Feng was powerful, but she didn't know how powerful he was. Ice Lake Mountain was one of the 5 hidden hegemons. 2 days ago, Qin Feng was defeated by the old hag of Ice Lake Mountain. Now, only 2 days had passed, and Qin Feng had returned. Could he really defeat the old hag? Stay outside if you're afraid. I'll come out in a moment, Qin Feng said to Shaoli. Shaoli immediately held Qin Feng's arm tightly and looked at him coquettishly. Master, I am not afraid. I'm just worried about you. Of course, Qin Feng understood Shaoli's concerns. He patted her head and said, Then let's go in together. I'll let you see my current strength. Bang! As soon as Qin Feng finished speaking, he raised his foot and kicked the door. The doors on the 5th floor of the hotel were specially made to prevent theft. However, Qin Feng easily kicked it open. The thick and heavy anti-theft door flew out and smashed the wooden boards and coffee table in the living room. In the end, the door sank into the wall of the living room window and almost blew the entire wall apart. Translator's notes: the room was huge. It was a high-class suite. Qian Huantong lived alone in this huge suite. At this moment, he was sitting on the sofa in the living room and watching TV. Qian Huantong always wore a silk nightgown. His arms and legs were exposed, and his skin was as fair as snow. He maintained his skin better than an 18-year-old girl's. The door that suddenly flew in shocked Qian Huantong. She leaped to the empty space at the side and shouted, Who are you? How dare you barge into my room? Qin Feng returned to his original appearance. Qian Huantong did not recognize Qin Feng. Ha ha! My old sweetheart, I said I'll take over your body in 50 days. Now that 2 days have passed, I can't wait any longer. Why don't you recognize me? Qin Feng said and changed to Zheng Shuai's appearance. Qian Huantong's face was so cold that it could drip water. Zheng Shuai's appearance was too ugly. Qian Huantong would never let him take over her body even if he beat her to death. So it's you, you little bastard. I've been looking for you. That's right, that little lover of yours is tied up in my room. That chick is really a piece of work. It's a pity that you're too late. I've already let my 6 male disciples have a taste of that woman. Qian Huantong was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. She purposely said something that was not true to anger Qin Feng. Before she could finish her sentence, the entire room exploded with a powerful airflow. In the next moment, Qin Feng turned into a shadow and shot toward Qian Huantong. Old hag, you've crossed the line. Rumble. Qin Feng's speed was so fast that Qian Huantong was stunned. While she was stunned, Qin Feng sent her flying with a punch. Her whole body sank into the marble wall. Qian Huantong hung on the wall and did not struggle. She stared at Qin Feng with her beautiful eyes as if she was looking at a monster. It had only been 2 days, but Qin Feng's strength had changed so much that it was beyond Qian Huantong's imagination. You! How did you become so powerful? Did you break through? Qian Huantong's voice was still trembling when she finally managed to speak. The cultivation of a martial artist was in defiance of the natural order. The higher one's cultivation, the harder it was to break through. The 4 minor realms of Stage 9 inner Qi were extremely difficult to break through. Even though she witnessed it with her own eyes, she still found it hard to believe. You're right. I did break through in these 2 days. I have to thank Vice Sect Leader Ling Tianhai of the Starlight Sect for helping me break through. Qin Feng's thoughts ran wild. He wanted to deal with Ice Lake Mountain and the Starlight Sect, but these 2 sects were not to be underestimated. Therefore, Qin Feng set a trap for Qian Huantong. As expected, Qian Huantong's expression changed drastically. She remembered the mysterious man in black who suddenly appeared that night. That mysterious man was a true energy stage powerhouse, and he knew about the 100 spirit stones. He was obviously an expert who attended the treasure inspection convention that night. None of the people from the outer hidden sect attended the treasure inspection convention, so the mysterious man in black must be someone from the inner hidden sect. Now that I've told you the secret, you can die in peace, Qin Feng said as he flew to Qian Huantong's side. As soon as he punched, a beautiful figure disappeared. Qin Feng's punch landed on the TV wall, creating a large hole in the LCD TV and the wall. Qian Huantong had already regained her senses and started to counterattack. She appeared behind Qin Feng in a flash and was about to hit him with her palm. Master, be careful. Xiao! Just as Shaoli opened his mouth, a gust of wind was heard. A pink sword ray streaked across the sky like a meteor and instantly pierced Qian Huantong's right arm. The majestic inner Qi in her right hand was immediately broken, and she started to retreat. Bang! The old woman was 1 step too late. Qin Feng's palm struck Qian Huantong into the sofa's background wall. This time, she was completely stuck in the wall. Qin Feng used his hand to press on her plump chest, immobilizing her. Bastard, let go of your filthy hand. I'm going to cut you into 1,000 pieces. Qian Huantong roared angrily, but her heart was still filled with shock and fear. Chapter 1035. You want me to let go? But I won't. Qin Feng was completely enraged by Elder Qian Huanchild's words. He thought Dong Fang Qing Shui had really been defiled. At this moment, Qin Feng's anger seemed to want to burn down the entire demon city. Elder Qian Huanchild felt Qin Feng increase his strength, and the pain made her eyes spit fire. However, she was hit by Qin Feng twice and was under his control. She couldn't escape at all. Shaoli! Go inside and save Qin Shui, Qin Feng said without turning his head. Shaoli saw her master grab the old woman's breasts and felt helpless. She couldn't understand her master's thoughts, so she jumped into the room. Rip! Just as Shaoli left, Qin Feng grabbed with his big hand and tore the gauze nightgown on Thousand Illusion Child's body into pieces. The beautiful scene of Thousand Illusion Child fell into Qin Feng's eyes, and the old woman was so angry that she gritted her teeth so hard that she almost shattered them. Bastard, let go of me, or else Ice Lake Mountain will be irreconcilable with you. Elder Qian Huanchild was still chaste and had a powerful cultivation. When had she ever been humiliated like this by a man? Qin Feng acted as if he couldn't hear her angry shouts. His big hands wandered around and touched Elder Qian Huanchild. My words count. Today, I'll let you taste what it feels like to be played with. The anger in Qin Feng's heart made him lose all reason. He directly pounced at Elder Qian Huanchild. After Shaoli entered the room, she found Dong Fang Qing Shui tied up on the bed. After checking, Shaoli confirmed that Dong Fang Qing Shui wasn't violated and was only under house arrest. It's you? Where's Qin Feng? After Dong Fang Qing Shui saw Shaoli, she started to struggle excitedly. However, her body was wrapped up in ropes, and she couldn't even sit up. Xiaoli sized up Dong Fang Shui and had to admit that this woman was indeed devastatingly beautiful. No wonder she was his master's fiancée. Xiaoli had enmity towards Dong Fang Shui. The two women often quarreled a few days ago. Now that she saw Dong Fang Shui, Xiaoli didn't say anything and didn't untie her. "What's that sound outside? What are you standing there for, you stinking girl? Hurry and untie me!" Dong Fang Shui's big missy temper flared and she ordered Xiaoli. Xiaoli already had a grudge, so she ignored Dong Fang Shui even more, letting her struggle on the bed. However, the strange sounds outside also attracted Xiaoli's attention. She leaped to the door and was immediately stunned by the scene in front of her. Ice Lake Mountain's elder was still stuck in the wall, and Qin Feng was dominating her. Seeing her master's wild behavior, Xiaoli's heart was in turmoil. "Master, why, if you want it, why don't you come with Xiaoli?" After watching for a while, Xiaoli couldn't help but suddenly come to Qin Feng's side. Qin Feng was stunned. He had not expected Xiaoli to say something like that at this time. However, Qin Feng did not stop. He looked at Xiaoli and said, "Just protect Qin Shui. I'm teaching this old woman a lesson." Xiaoli was rejected by Qin Feng again. She immediately lowered her head and ran back into the house. The commotion outside was so loud that even the walls were shaking. Xiaoli suppressed the excitement in her heart, and ran to the door from time to time to take a look. She was so embarrassed that her face was about to drip water. "You smelly maid, hurry and let go of me. I'm your mistress. Be careful that I don't tell on you to Qin Feng." Dong Fang Shui struggled more and more. She felt that something was strange when she heard the commotion outside. She wanted to go out and see if Qin Feng was messing around. Xiaoli angrily walked to Dong Fang Shui's side. She was in a bad mood after being rejected by her master. She reached out and ripped off Dong Fang Shui's top. Dong Fang Shui was so scared that she didn't dare to scream anymore. "If you talk too much, I'll rip off your pants too. Then, if Master sees you like this, he'll think you've been played with. Let's see if Master still wants you." Dong Fang Shui was so sullen that tears flowed out. She didn't think she would be so unlucky. First, she was tied up by Ice Lake Mountain's old woman and placed under house arrest. Now, she was threatened by Qin Feng's maid. "Why hurry and put on my clothes? I am freezing." Dong Fang Shui's tones softened a bit. She had no other choice. Xiaoli sat on the edge of the bed. She listened to the strange shouts outside and stared at Dong Fang Shui's neckline. Then, she compared it to her own. Xiaoli suddenly felt a bit disappointed. Why was hers the smallest? "Hey! Why, you're a pervert! Why are you staring at my neckline? Hurry and put on my clothes." Dong Fang Shui was so angry that she wanted to die. She even suspected that Xiaoli was gay. Dong Fang Shui was worried when she suddenly felt a pain in her chest. Xiaoli had grabbed her. Why, you perverted demon, hurry and take your hand away!" Dong Fang Shui shrieked in fright. Xiaoli smiled proudly. It was rare for her to get such a good opportunity to bully Dong Fang Shui, so she couldn't miss it. "I won't let go. Let's see if you still dare to bully me in front of Master in the future. Do you still dare to show off your affection to anger me?" Xiaoli glared at Dong Fang Shui and asked. Dong Fang Shui was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She turned her face away and didn't say anything. Xiaoli's jade hand slipped and touched Dong Fang Shui's thigh. Why, you're crazy. Why don't touch me?" Dong Fang Shui's entire body trembled. She was almost scared to death by Xiaoli's actions. Xiaoli smiled even more proudly. "Tell me, do you still dare to order me around in the future? You're ruthless." "I won't order you around in the future, okay? Why hurry and put on my clothes? Don't touch me." Dong Fang Shui was completely helpless. She felt so wronged. Xiaoli wasn't an evil woman. She was simply immersed in her love for Qin Feng and couldn't extricate herself. She did all of this because of Qin Feng. Seeing that Dong Fang Qin Shui really couldn't take it anymore, Xiao Li let go of her hand. However, she didn't help her put on her clothes. This was a small punishment for Dong Fang Qin Shui for going against her before. Dong Fang Qin Shui didn't say anything. She was afraid that Xiao Li would pounce on her and touch her again. It was simply too awkward. The room quieted down. The two women didn't pay attention to each other. The noise in the living room outside grew louder and louder. It made one's imagination run wild. Dong Fang Qin Shui didn't know what was going on. She really wanted to go out and see what was going on. After more than half an hour, the noise finally subsided. Elder Thousand Illusion Child was so tired that he was about to collapse. He was grabbed by Qin Feng from the wall and placed on the sofa. After Qin Feng put on his clothes, Elder Thousand Illusion Child lay on the sofa. His eyes were lifeless. He felt as if his soul had been taken away. Qin Shui, are you all right? After Qin Feng finished, he immediately rushed into the room. Once he entered, he was stunned by the scene before him. Wah wah! Qin Feng, hurry up and untie the ropes on my body. Dong Fang Qin Shui cried loudly when she saw Qin Feng. Qin Feng had always wanted to maintain a relationship with this woman. He thought he had no other feelings for Dong Fang Qin Shui. However, when he saw her naked upper body lying on the bed, Qin Feng's eyes became bloodshot. Qin Shui, who did this to you? I'll kill him right now! Qin Feng strode to the bedside. Without hesitation, he quickly untied the ropes on Dong Fang Qin Shui's body. Dong Fang Qin Shui's face and ears flushed with embarrassment. She hurriedly put on her clothes, then angrily pointed at Xiao Li and yelled, Qin Feng, hurry and kill that bad woman. She was the one who tortured me. Qin Feng was shocked. He looked at Xiao Li dumbfoundedly. You said she took off your clothes? How is that possible? Dong Fang Qin Shui also thought this was inconceivable. Was Xiao Li crazy? Dong Fang Qin Shui, who had a stomach full of grievances, threw herself into Qin Feng's arms. She hugged Qin Feng's arm tightly and began to act like a spoiled child. It was your subordinate who did this. I was originally under house arrest by the old woman of Ice Lake Mountain. Then, your subordinate suddenly came in, took off my clothes, and groped me. I don't care, you must kill her. The more Qin Feng listened, the more confused he became. He hurriedly grabbed Dong Fang Qin Shui's wrist and glanced at it. The virginity was still there. Dong Fang Qin Shui really wasn't violated. Xiao Li, what's going on? Qin Feng stared at Xiao Li in astonishment. Xiao Li had just taught Dong Fang Qin Shui a lesson. Just then, Dong Fang Qin Shui promised that she wouldn't tell on him in front of Qin Feng or flaunt their affection. Yet, as soon as Qin Feng entered the room, Dong Fang Qin Shui changed. Xiao Li was so angry that she almost spat blood. Master, I was wrong. Xiao Li looked nervously at Qin Feng. After she calmed down, she felt that she went a bit too far. Qin Feng roughly understood the reason and was instantly speechless by Xiao Li's actions. However, Dong Fang Qin Shui wasn't willing to let Xiao Li go. She pressed her upper body into Qin Feng's embrace and her voice became coquettish. Qin Feng, hurry and go kill Xiao Li. Qin Feng looked at the pitiful Xiao Li and then looked at the charming and moving Dong Fang Qin Shui in his arms. He was truly helpless against these two women. All right, Qin Shui, Xiao Li is very kind. She was probably just playing with you. Xiao Li, apologize to Qin Shui. Don't make these kinds of jokes in the future. Qin Feng glanced at Xiao Li. Xiao Li also realized that she went too far. She said quietly, Big Miss Qin Shui, I'm sorry. Dong Fang Qin Shui pouted and was still dissatisfied. She kicked her legs and acted like a spoiled child. No, she's just a maid, yet she dared to make a move on the mistress. Qin Feng, are you even my fiancé? Why are you always on her side? Hurry and go teach her a lesson. Qin Feng didn't know what to do. He carried Dong Fang Qin Shui off the bed and straightened the messy hair on her forehead. He suddenly lowered his head and kissed Dong Fang Qin Shui on the forehead. Alright, stop messing around. I'll take you back. You haven't eaten all day, right? Qin Feng changed the topic and didn't scold Shaoli. Dong Fang Qing Shui's delicate body had long since stiffened. She never thought that Qin Feng would suddenly kiss her forehead. Dong Fang Qing Shui had always opposed this marriage forced by her grandfather. She hated Qin Feng from the beginning and secretly used many small methods to teach Qin Feng a lesson. Chapter 1036. Seeing Qin Feng hug Dong Fang Qing Shui and kiss her forehead lovingly, Shaoli was extremely envious. Qin Feng and Dong Fang Qing Shui walked out of the room. Shaoli lowered her head in disappointment and followed. She didn't know when her master would like her. Only then would he dote on her like she was his woman. Eh? He actually let that old woman run away. After leaving the room, Qin Feng saw that elder Qian Huan child had already left. The living room was a mess like a battlefield. Dong Fang Qing Shui had already come back to her senses. She shyly struggled out of Qin Feng's embrace. She remembered the strange sounds and pulled Qin Feng's arm. What happened outside? Are you hurt? Qin Feng felt a bit guilty. How could he be hurt? That old woman from Ice Lake Mountain was probably hurt. Who told Qin Feng to be so powerful? Cough, cough. I'm fine. I just fought with Elder Qian Huan child. I didn't think she would escape, Qin Feng said half-truthfully. Dong Fang Qing Shui still had some doubts but didn't ask. She thought back to the excited sounds in the living room and thought that the female elder from Ice Lake Mountain was beaten up quite badly. Shaoli saw the intense process, but she didn't say anything. Seeing Shaoli's depressed mood, Qin Feng patted her shoulder and said, Shaoli, take Qing Shui to the Blue Moon Observatory's room. I'll come find you guys later. Dong Fang Qing Shui saw Qin Feng and was reluctant. She grabbed Qin Feng's arm and asked, You just came back, where are you going? The people from Star Sect are after you, and you've offended an elder from Ice Lake Mountain. Don't run around. How about we go back to the capital? I don't want to participate in this martial arts circle conference. Dong Fang Qing Shui found that she couldn't help but worry about Qin Feng. Shaoli was also worried about her master. This time, she agreed with Dong Fang Qing Shui's suggestion. The outer martial arts world was too dangerous. Master would only be safe if he returned to the capital. I'm fine. You guys go back first. I'll find you guys soon. Qin Feng prepared to find trouble with Star Sect at night. This time, he couldn't bring Shaoli and Dong Fang Qing Shui. There were too many experts from Star Sect. It was safer for Qin Feng to act alone. Though Shaoli was still worried, she obeyed her master's orders. She ignored Dong Fang Qing Shui's struggles and pulled her downstairs. The environment of this floor was elegant, and every room was soundproof. Therefore, the commotion in Thousand Illusion Children's old house didn't attract anyone's attention. The hallway was still quiet and cheerless. The two Stage 8 energy guards were still unconscious at the bottom of the stairs. Qin Feng went up and kicked one of them awake. Great, great hero, spare my life, spare my life. As soon as he woke up, the guard was so scared that his entire body trembled. He was truly stunned by Qin Feng's strength tonight. The guard was puzzled. He basically knew all the experts in the inner hidden sect, but he had never seen such a young expert like Qin Feng. Who exactly was this person? Don't talk nonsense. Let me ask you, which inner hidden sects are staying in these rooms? Qin Feng yelled in a low voice. The inner 8 disciples stopped begging and started to introduce the first room at the stairs. Hero, the 2 rooms at the entrance are for the people of the inner 1,000 Miles sect. The 2 rooms opposite are for the people of the inner Lei Feng Pagoda. The 2 rooms inside are for the disciples of the Jade Lady Mountain. The 3 rooms inside are for the Serenity sect, one of the inner 5 hegemons, 3 rooms for the Snow Mountain sect, 4 rooms for the Immortal Cloud sect and 4 rooms for the Starlight sect. The guard explained the situation of the entire floor to Qin Feng. Now, Qin Feng was completely clear about the situation on this floor. The reason why he asked so clearly was because Qin Feng planned to go to Serenity to find Su Ruoro and Snow Mountain Sect to see Wen Yiming. Bang! After asking all the questions that needed to be asked, Qin Feng casually swung his palm down, and the guard was knocked unconscious again. Qin Feng didn't go to Star Sect directly. Instead, he went to room 515. This was Serenity's residence. "Who is it?" A pleasant voice came from the room after a while. It was Su Ruoro's voice. "It's me. I'm here to return your Pikachu," Qin Feng said. "Ka!" The door suddenly opened. Su Ruoro seemed to have just finished showering. She had a white towel draped over her body. Her arms and legs were exposed to the air. Waves of fragrance assailed Qin Feng's nostrils. "Return it to me!" Su Ruoro saw Qin Feng's restless gaze. She angrily extended her hand towards Qin Feng. Qin Feng grabbed Su Ruoro's hand and dashed into the room. What are you doing? Damn pervert, let go of me!" Qin Feng locked the door from the inside. He carried Su Ruoro into the big bed in the inner room. Qin Feng looked around and found that Su Ruoro was the only one living in the room. The disciples of the Hidden Five Hegemons were considered high class, and each of them lived in a suite. On the other hand, the disciples of the Hidden Five Hegemons lived in a standard room with a few people. Su Ruoro was placed on the bed. Her towel was a bit messy. Qin Feng couldn't help but steal a few glances. He quickly calmed himself down. "Ruoro, don't be nervous. I won't hurt you. I'll return the Pikachu to you," Qin Feng commanded with his mind. Pikachu jumped out of the towel and flew into Su Ruoro's arms. Su Ruoro's nervousness eased a little. She realized that the man before her had no ill intentions towards her. He even called her Ruoro. Su Ruoro was puzzled. "Who are you? What do you want?" Su Ruoro hastily pulled the blanket over her body. She hugged the Pikachu tightly in her arms and looked at Qin Feng vigilantly. "Ruoro, we used to be a couple. You lost your memory and were taken away by the Serenity sect leader. I'm here to pick you up." Qin Feng explained the situation in a few words. The more Su Ruoro listened, the more confused she became. "Don't talk nonsense. How could I be your girl? Where's your girlfriend? Master found me in the deep mountains when I was young. Then I cultivated in the Serenity. Don't try to lie to me. Get out of here now. Otherwise, I won't be polite anymore." Su Ruoro was a bit agitated. After all, a grown man had barged into her room at night. She was already very patient by not attacking him. Qin Feng didn't mind Su Ruoro's attitude. After all, Su Ruoro had lost her memory and couldn't remember the past. "Pikachu! Pikachu!" Pikachu yelled. He suddenly struggled out of Su Ruoro's embrace and jumped onto Qin Feng's shoulder. He chirped and jumped non-stop. "Pikachu, hurry and come back!" Su Ruoro was a bit angry. Pikachu used to listen to her the most, and almost never left her side. Why did he change as soon as he saw this youth? "Master, Pikachu wants you to hurry and push down the mistress, subdue her and bring her back." Little Pig translated Pikachu's words. The corner of Qin Feng's mouth twitched. He didn't follow Pikachu's wishes. He walked to Su Ruoro's bedside and sat down. "Ruoro, I didn't lie to you. How about I tell you about our past? Maybe you'll remember. Don't sit here. Hurry and leave." Su Ruoro didn't remember having a boyfriend. She had never been so close to a man. Now that Qin Feng sat down, the air was filled with the scent of a man. It made Su Ruoro's heart go numb. Dong dong dong. Someone suddenly knocked on Su Ruoro's door. Su Ruoro grabbed onto a straw in the water and immediately went to open the door. "Senior Sister Xian Yu! Junior Sister Wishing, what's wrong?" Hua Xian Yu saw that Su Ruoro's mood wasn't right when she entered the room. Then, she saw Qin Feng standing in the living room. "Qin Feng? Why are you in Junior Sister Wuxin's room?" Hua Xian Yu's expression suddenly became cold. She mistakenly thought that Qin Feng forced Su Ruoro to do something. Hearing Su Ruoro's current name, Qin Feng smiled bitterly. Wuxin, Wuxin. Are you going to draw a line between us? Miss Xian Yu, I want to take Ruoro away. Qin Feng didn't explain. He walked up to pull Su Ruoro away. Hua Xianyu immediately blocked in front of Su Ruoro and shouted with a cold face. Young hero Qin Feng, I've already taken a few steps back because you saved my life. But today, I won't let you take junior sister Wuxin away no matter what. Hua Xianyu knew that junior sister Wuxin lost her memory, but she lied to Qin Feng. Hua Xianyu was in a difficult position. Su Ruoro was a genius disciple that sect leader Jingxin fancied. She had a purine body that only appeared once in 100 years. In the future, Su Ruoro might inherit sect leader Jingxin's position and bring serenity to greater heights. How could Hua Xianyu let Qin Feng take away such an important junior sister? Hua Xianyu couldn't bear the consequences if sect leader Jingxin blamed her. Miss Xianyu, you're making it difficult for me. Qin Feng didn't want to be enemies with Hua Xianyu. Young hero Qin Feng, I'm also in a difficult position. You should leave. Don't bother junior sister Wuxin anymore. Hua Xianyu's voice was firm. Qin Feng's expression became cold. He could only force himself. Hua Xianyu wasn't Qin Feng's opponent. Before she could react, she found that Qin Feng was already carrying Su Ruoro away. Hey! Hurry and stop. You'll offend serenity like this. Sect leader Jingxin will definitely send people to kill you in the future. Hua Xianyu was so anxious that she stomped her feet. The reason why she was in such a difficult position was because she was worried about Qin Feng. Su Ruoro was a popular disciple of serenity. If she was taken away, sect leader Jingxin would explode in anger. Qin Feng didn't seem to hear Hua Xianyu's shouts. He carried Su Ruoro and ran. Su Ruoro kept struggling. She used her pink fists to hit Qin Feng's back and kicked her long legs. You bastard, hurry and put me down, Ruoro, stop kicking. Your little butt is exposed. Qin Feng extended his hand to support Su Ruoro's butt and helped her cover the bottom of the towel. Su Ruoro was so scared that her body suddenly froze. She really didn't dare to move. Rumble! A muffled sound suddenly exploded in front of Qin Feng. A black shadow stood at the top of the stairs with his hands behind his back. He was staring coldly at Qin Feng. Stinking brat, you actually didn't die? The person standing at the top of the stairs was Stellar Sect's vice-sect leader Ling Tianhai. As his voice fell, 3 people appeared behind Qin Feng. Ling Dozi and 2 elders blocked Qin Feng's way. Chapter 1037. Ling Tianhai and the others were shocked when they saw Qin Feng. 2 nights ago, everyone saw Qin Feng fall from the cliff. They thought Qin Feng would be smashed to pieces, but they didn't expect him to still be alive. Qin Feng didn't have any injuries and his inner qi was much more powerful. They couldn't figure it out. Bastard, put me down! Su Ruoro was almost taken away by Qin Feng. She hit Qin Feng's back with her fists when she saw the people from Star Sect. Qin Feng wanted to send Su Ruoro to the room in Azure Moon Observatory first, and then find trouble with the people from Star Sect. He didn't expect to run into people from Star Sect. Lady Xian Yu, take care of Ruoro for me. I'll come back for her after I torture these old dogs. With a leap, Qin Feng's figure had already disappeared to the staircase. How could Ling Tianhai and the others let Qin Feng leave? They hurriedly chased after him. Su Ruoro fell into Hua Xianyu's arms and was carried into the room. Junior sister Wu Xian, are you okay? Hua Xianyu put Su Ruoro on the bed and looked at her worriedly. Su Ruoro wasn't hurt, but she was embarrassed. Her hands couldn't help but touch her butt. Qin Feng pressed down on it for a long time. Ever since Su Ruoro had joined Serenity, she had wholeheartedly focused on cultivation. She had never cared about matters of the heart. Moreover, she didn't know what was wrong with her. She had no interest in men at all, but today, she had been taken advantage of by Qin Feng. Su Ruoro's starry eyes were filled with mist. Junior sister Wuxin, why don't you say something? Qin Feng didn't do anything to you, right? Hua Xianyu was anxious. Qin Feng wasn't that kind of person. Su Ruoro came back to her senses and shook her head. He didn't do anything to me. He just wanted to take me away. Senior Sister Xianyu, are you close to Qin Feng? Why does he keep pestering me and call me Ruoro? I don't even know him. These past few days, Su Ruoro had been thinking about this matter. Actually, she also felt that it was a bit strange. Qin Feng didn't look like a bad person, nor was he a real pervert, so why did he insist on pestering her? Hua Xianyu was stumped by Su Ruoro's question. She knew that Su Ruoro had lost her memory, but she couldn't tell Su Ruoro. Junior sister, I've only met Qin Feng once. He probably mistook me for someone else. Don't think too much about it. The martial arts circle convention is tomorrow morning. Rest well tonight. Hua Xianyu caressed Su Ruoro's forehead and left the room. However, Su Ruoro couldn't fall asleep no matter how hard she tried. Qin Feng's face appeared in her mind uncontrollably, and the scene where Qin Feng tyrannically carried her and ran outside. Bang, bang, bang. The wind whistled past his ears, and he could even hear the sound of wind breaking. After Qin Feng rushed out of the River Middle restaurant, he flew straight towards the depths of the Devil City. Ling Tianhai and the other 3 elders chased after Qin Feng. The scene was exactly the same as 2 nights ago. However, many things had changed tonight. Qin Feng was no longer the person he was 2 days ago. Now that he had the flying sword in his hand and had broken through to the mid-stage of Stage 9 Inner Qi, he wasn't afraid of the 4 people chasing after him. Sect Leader Tianhai, why do I feel that this brat's speed has increased? Ling Dozi frowned as he chased after Qin Feng halfway. He wasn't the only one who noticed the problem. Ling Tianhai and the other 2 elders also noticed the abnormality. It had only been 2 days, but Qin Feng's strength seemed to have increased tremendously. This brat has most likely broken through. However, no matter how much he breaks through, he's still only at the mid-stage of Stage 9 Inner Qi. With the 4 of us working together, we don't have to be afraid of him. That night, he fell off the cliff and survived. Tonight, we must kill him with our own hands. Tomorrow was the Martial Arts Circle Convention. Originally, Ling Tianhai and the others had already calmed down. They were determined to win the position of the Martial Arts Alliance leader, but they didn't expect something like this to happen in the middle of the night. Ling Tianhai's expression was ice-cold. He was determined to tear Qin Feng into 1,000 pieces. The cold wind whistled around them as the 5 of them transformed into 5 black shadows that shuttled through the night. The 5 of them were extremely fast. Ordinary martial artists wouldn't be able to see their existence clearly. They would only see a shadow flashing past their eyes, and in the next moment, the 5 of them disappeared into the deep night. Sect Leader Tianhai, this is the place where Qin Feng was forced to jump off the cliff that night. We must be careful, Ling Dozi reminded. The other 3 had already discovered it, but Ling Tianhai didn't care. He took large strides and reached out to grab Qin Feng. Stinking brat, let's see where you can run now! Rumble! Ling Tianhai grabbed at the void, but it was as if he had squeezed the air in front of him. A loud sound rang out, and a powerful aura shot out. An ordinary person would be blown to pieces if they were near it. Qin Feng had indeed arrived at the edge of the cliff. He even stopped. Seeing a violent aura surging towards him, Qin Feng's expression didn't change. He suddenly leaped into the bottomless abyss. Bang, bang, bang! As soon as Qin Feng disappeared, the ground he was standing on exploded. Crushed rocks rolled down the valley. Ling Tianhai and the other 3 stood at the edge of the cliff, looking down at the bottomless abyss. Fuck! Is this brat sick? Why did he jump off the cliff again? Ling Dozi was extremely gloomy. He shouted at the bottom of the cliff. Ling Tianhai and the 2 elders frowned and stared at the bottom of the cliff without saying a word. They didn't think that Qin Feng had really jumped off the cliff to commit suicide. There must be some cave or a place to climb down the cliff. Otherwise, Qin Feng would have fallen to his death last time. Sect Leader Tianhai, what should we do now? Ling Dozy asked anxiously as they stood on the cliff in silence. That brat definitely didn't fall to his death. Let's go down and take a look. I think there are some mysteries at the bottom of the cliff. Ling Tianhai thought for a while and finally made a decision. Tomorrow was the martial arts circle convention. If Qin Feng didn't die, Ling Tianhai wouldn't be able to put down a stone in his heart. Sect leader Tianhai, please think twice. This cliff is bottomless, and it's late at night. If we jump down rashly, we might fall to our deaths. Ling Dozy was so scared that he cried out in alarm. He didn't want to jump down the cliff. Even if he was at the peak of stage 9 inner chi, he couldn't fly. Wouldn't jumping down from this high cliff be throwing away his life in vain? The two elders also looked troubled. None of them wanted to go down, but they couldn't calm down without seeing Qin Feng's body. This made them very conflicted. Ling Dozy's strength is the weakest. You stay on the cliff to prevent that brat from making a sneak attack. Ling Yongzi and Aunt Ling Shui, follow me down to investigate. Tonight we must kill that brat with our own hands. Ling Tianhai made a decision after a short moment of hesitation. He took the lead and jumped down the cliff. The two elders looked at each other, and their eyes were filled with helplessness. However, the two of them had no other choice. They leaped lightly and followed Ling Tianhai down. The three of them couldn't fly with their strength. After falling down the cliff, they began to freefall. The whistling wind beside their ears hurt their faces. For a moment, the two elders couldn't open their eyes. We can't let ourselves fall like this. You too, use your strength and slap me onto the cliff. Ling Tianhai quickly adapted to the feeling of falling, and shouted to the two elders beside him. The two elders did not dare to be careless, and both struck out with their palms. The air exploded, and Ling Tianhai borrowed the power of his inner chi to jump onto the cliff halfway up the mountain. Come here! With both feet on the ground, Ling Tianhai felt much safer. Without the slightest hesitation, he waved his hand. The belt on his body flew out and directly wrapped around the arms of the two elders. Then, with a light pull, the two of them landed beside Ling Tianhai. The three of them stood halfway up the mountain. In front of them was a bottomless abyss. Behind them was a 2-meter deep hole. The three of them just happened to be standing inside. For a moment, they didn't dare to move. After this jump, they discovered that there was no mystery at the bottom of the cliff. If an ordinary person jumped down, they would undoubtedly die. They didn't know how Qin Feng survived. Sect leader Tianhai, two elders, are you all right? Ling Dozy stood alone on the cliff. His heart was in a mess. He didn't expect that the three of them would really jump down. Did they want to die? However, after shouting for a long time, Ling Dozy still didn't hear a reply from the three. At this moment, a sneer came from behind him. Ling Dozy, are you looking for me? You! Why are you behind me? Didn't you jump off the cliff? Ling Dozy was so scared that his eyeballs almost popped out. Although he was an expert at the peak of stage 9 inner chi, he was still a human. He would still be frightened by something that didn't make sense. Don't go back anymore. Otherwise, you'll fall off the cliff too. Don't you want to kill me? Now that I'm here, what are you afraid of? Qin Feng looked at Ling Dozy with a smile. Ling Dozy quickly calmed down. He was also suddenly frightened by Qin Feng. After all, Ling Dozy was an expert at the peak of stage 9 inner chi. Why would he be afraid of Qin Feng? Stinking brat, where are the sect leader Tianhai and the two elders? How did you get up here? Ling Dozy's expression was cold, but he wasn't in a hurry to make a move. There were simply too many things that he couldn't understand. Qin Feng didn't say anything. Instead, he used his actions to answer Ling Dozy's doubts. A pink light flashed under the night sky, and the figure standing opposite Qin Feng also disappeared. Where is he? Where did he go? Ling Dozy's expression changed drastically. An ominous premonition arose in his heart. Whoosh! A whistling gale reached his ears. It was as if a meteor had streaked past him. Ling Dozy didn't even have the chance to react. Suddenly, someone slapped him in the face. Bang! Ling Dozi was sent flying backward. Then, Qin Feng's sneer came from the void. You little trash, want to kill me? Tonight, this will be your burial ground. After Ling Dozi fell to the ground, he immediately jumped up. He drew the long sword on his back and looked around. He wanted to find Qin Feng's position, but there was only a flash of pink light. It was so fast that Ling Dozi couldn't catch it. Every time he felt like he was about to locate it, the pink light would disappear in the next moment. Looking for me? Bang! Qin Feng's voice came again. With a casual slap, Ling Dozi flew more than 10 meters away. The speed of the starry sky flying sword was so fast that Ling Dozi didn't even have the strength to fight back. He was an expert at the peak of stage 9 inner chi, but at this moment, he was as weak as an ant in front of Qin Feng. He allowed Qin Feng to suppress him. You, where the hell are you? If you have the guts, come out and fight me fair and square. What kind of hero are you if you always hide in the dark? Ling Dozi had already forgotten how many times he had jumped up from the ground. He was already in a mess, and the long sword in his hand slashed randomly in the air. Sword chi surged violently, creating dozens of ravines on the ground above the cliff. However, it didn't hurt Qin Feng. Since you want to see me so much, I'll fulfill your wish. Qin Feng's figure appeared along with his voice. Before Ling Dozi could see Qin Feng, he looked up with his mouth wide open in shock. Chapter 1038. Ling Dozi was dumbfounded, and he even forgot to breathe. He looked at Qin Feng, who was standing in midair for a long time, and felt as if he was dreaming. You! How can you fly? You! What realm are you at? Even experts at the vital energy stage can't fly. Could you be half a step into the fairy realm? Ling Dozi seemed to be talking to himself. As he spoke, he shook his head vigorously. In the outer martial arts world, regardless of whether it was the outer or inner hidden factions, it was rumored that the strongest experts were only experts at the vital energy stage. It was shocking enough that Qin Feng had broken through to stage 9 inner chi at such a young age. How could he possibly be half a step into the fairy realm? No! Is it the flying sword under your feet? It's actually a flying sword. Ling Dozi cried out in surprise again. He had been in the inner hidden factions for a long time, and he had heard rumors about flying swords. This was the first time he had seen one. So, flying swords really existed on Earth? Heh! You're really stupid. Haven't you heard of that saying? The more you know, the faster you die. Now that you know everything, I should send you to hell. The starry sky flying sword was one of Qin Feng's most important secrets. He could not imagine what kind of turmoil it would cause if news of this flying sword were to spread. In the past, Qin Feng had only revealed a few orange and blue-grade spiritual artifacts, and it had already caused 2 martial arts circles conventions. The power of the starry sky flying sword could probably cause all the old monsters of the inner hidden factions to come out. Swoosh! As Qin Feng's voice fell, his figure disappeared in midair once again. Ling Dozi's heart suddenly sank. For the first time, he had a feeling of infinite terror. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng had already appeared in front of Ling Dozi. He raised his hand and sent a ball of destructive fire toward Ling Dozi. Ling Dozi had no time to react. He immediately raised his long sword and danced in the sky. Bang, 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 bang! The sword energy and the destructive fire collided in midair. The huge aura caused the whole valley to shake violently. Ling Tianhai and the other 2, who were halfway up the mountain, had already sensed the movement above them. However, the 3 of them were trapped halfway up the mountain, and they were completely powerless. Stinking brat, if you dare to play tricks on me, I'll kill you myself! Ling Dozi's sword descended several times, and the destructive fire had already been split into a rain of fire that scattered all over the ground. Ling Dozi discovered that the flying sword had disappeared, and Qin Feng's strength was not as strong as he had imagined. Ling Dozi did not hold back at all, and activated all of his inner chi to unleash a fatal attack. Rumble! As soon as the sword chi appeared, the air exploded violently. Under Qin Fan's naked eyes, the hundreds of sword chis instantly condensed into a majestic sword light that enveloped half of the sky above Qin Fan's head. Rumble! Qin Fan could already feel the pressure from the sword. He could tell that Ling Dozi hadn't used his full strength when he fought with Qin Fan that day. This made Qin Fan realize how powerful a Stage 9 inner chi expert was. They were not to be trifled with. Xiao xiao xiao! The material-like sword light slashed down at lightning speed. Ling Dozi's eyes flickered with excitement. It was as if he could already see the scene of Qin Fan being split into two by the sword. However, before the sword light could completely condense, it began to dissipate rapidly. The surging aura on Ling Dozi's body also disappeared, and a dozen or so bloody holes appeared on his body. The starry sky flying sword had pierced Ling Dozi dozens of times at some point in time. You what? I'm just standing here as bait. The flying sword is my real weapon! Qin Fan looked at the terrified and unwilling Ling Dozi. He lifted his leg, and Ling Dozi instantly soared into the sky. Several rays of pink light flickered in the air, and the ground was splattered with blood. At this point, Ling Dozi no longer existed in Huaxia. How many years of bitter training and nurturing did it take to become a Stage 9 inner chi expert? There were only a few of them in the entire Huaxia secular world. However, Qin Fan killed one in 5 minutes. After killing a Stage 9 inner chi expert, Qin Fan did not even bother to look at him. It was as if killing an ant was a trivial matter. Whoosh! With a leap, Qin Fan landed on the cliff. A ray of pink light followed him. Qin Fan stood on the starry sky flying sword and flickered in the dark cliff. He was the king of this cliff. Sect leader Tianhai, the commotion has disappeared. What's going on? Could it be that Ling Dozi fought with someone? This is Devil City, the territory of our starry sect. Who dares to offend Ling Dozi? Ling Yangzi and Auntie Ling Shui were puzzled. They could not figure out what was going on. Ling Tianhai was extremely depressed. He wanted to climb up and see what was going on. Oh no, could it be that Qin Fan killed his way up? Elder Ling Yangzi cried out in alarm. Auntie Ling Shui's expression changed greatly. Ling Tianhai lowered his voice and roared. Nonsense! We saw that brat jump off the cliff with our own eyes. Now that we've come down, we did not see him go up. How could it be Qin Fan? Ling Tianhai's reprimand made the two elders calm down a little. Ling Yangzi wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. He also felt that he was too nervous. But before he could completely relax, Qin Fan's laughter came from the valley. You guessed right. I just killed Ling Dozi on the cliff. Now it's your turn. Rumble. As his voice fell, several fireballs flew out. In this dark cliff, the raging flames were very dazzling. Ling Tianhai and the other two elders could not open their eyes. The fireballs flew quickly and smashed into the small cave where the three of them were standing. The surrounding mountain walls suddenly exploded. Gravel rolled down to the bottom of the valley. From time to time, a terrifying muffled sound could be heard. Ling Yangzi, Auntie Ling Shui, how are you? Soon, Ling Tianhai's voice came from dozens of meters away from the cave. This guy was worthy of being a true Qi stage expert. His reaction and speed were extremely fast. Sect leader Tianhai. Just as Ling Yangzi opened his mouth, a scorching fireball flew out. Another loud explosion sounded. It was unknown whether Ling Yangzi was dead or alive. At this moment, the cliff was dead silent. Only the sound of the howling wind could be heard. Ling Tianhai did not dare to ask if the two elders were dead or alive. If he made a sound, his position would be exposed. The cliff was so dark that one couldn't even see their fingers in front of them. He thought that by remaining silent, he would be able to hide his position. But at this moment, Qin Fan wore a pair of cool night vision goggles. The scene in front of him was as bright as day. Ling Tianhai and Auntie Ling Shui were hiding behind a large rock on the cliff. Ling Yangzi had just been hit by the destructive fire. His clothes were burned to a crisp. Xiao! The sound of breaking wind rose, but it was not as ear-piercing in the howling wind. A pink light flashed. The next moment, he heard the sound of skin being cut. Ling Yangzi's eyes widened as he looked at the pink flying sword stuck in his chest. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Yangzi had been stuck at the peak of stage 9 inner chi for a long time. After a few more years, he would naturally step into the stage of true chi. Before this, he would never have thought that he would die. Ling Yangzi? What happened to you? Everyone present was a top-notch expert. Even the slightest movement in the wind could not escape their ears. Ling Tianhai had already realized something. He did not care about exposing his identity. He shouted as he quickly climbed to the top of the cliff. He found that Qin Fen was too amazing. He could actually move freely between the cliffs. Boom! Several fireballs flew out, and all landed where Ling Tianhai had been standing. The valley was filled with continuous loud noises. It felt like an earthquake. Gravel continuously fell to the bottom of the valley. The deep muffled sound was more shocking than thunder. Sect leader Tianhai, Ling Yangzi is dead. A woman's voice suddenly came from the other side. It was Auntie Ling Shui's position. The two thought that Qin Fen could not see them. They talked while changing their positions. The pink light flickered between the cliffs. Qin Fen was already flying in the direction of Auntie Ling Shui. Hurry up and go ashore. Fighting on the cliff is extremely disadvantageous for us. Ling Tianhai climbed up the cliff quickly like a mountain creeper. Now they finally understood why Qin Fen ran to the cliff. This was Qin Fen's strategy. Not long ago, Ling Tianhai and the others naively thought that Qin Fen had no way out. You still want to run? It's too late. Qin Fen was like a ghost on the cliff. His figure was erratic. Every time he appeared, it was like a demon from hell coming to collect lives. The cosmic flying sword had already flown out. Before Auntie Ling Shui could see what was going on, her chest was pierced. Her body fell head first into the bottomless abyss. Qin Fen also fell. Halfway down, a pink light flashed. The flying sword was already under Qin Fen's feet. It carried Qin Fen all the way up. Ling Tianhai, didn't you want to kill me? Why are you running? Ling Tianhai was worthy of being a true Qi expert. Qin Fen had only killed one person, but this guy had already climbed all the way to the top of the cliff. Ling Dozi and the other two were all at the peak of stage 9 inner Qi. Qin Fen could kill them easily. However, Qin Fen still had to be vigilant against Ling Tianhai, who was at stage 1 true Qi. Rumble! More than 10 balls of destructive fire shot out and instantly surrounded the top of the mountain. The fireballs fell on the top of the cliff. Gravel flew everywhere, and the fire soared into the sky. Ling Tianhai, who was just about to go ashore, was forced to jump down the cliff all the way to the bottom of the valley. A dignified true Qi expert was forced into such a predicament by Qin Fen. The fire in Ling Tianhai's heart was about to burn the heavens. His speed of descending the mountain doubled. In a short while, he had already reached the bottom of the cliff and landed on the plains at the bottom of the valley. Qin Fen, you shameless brat! You dare to plot against us? If you have the guts, come down and fight me. I will cut you into 1,000 pieces. How long had it been? Ling Dozi and the other two were all killed. Ling Tianhai couldn't even accept this fact. Those were 3 experts at the peak of stage 9 inner Qi. Even in the Star Sect, losing 3 experts at once was a heavy blow. Whoosh! The sound of wind breaking resounded. A pink light shot out and Qin Fen's figure floated in the air. Ling Tianhai was stunned by this scene. As a true Qi expert, Ling Tianhai was experienced and knowledgeable. He knew that China had the existence of a flying sword. However, even with Ling Tianhai's status, he couldn't get his hands on it. Yet he saw Qin Fen riding a flying sword. It was also at this moment that Ling Tianhai suddenly realized why Qin Fen could come and go as he pleased on the cliff. This brat was really lucky to get his hands on such a heaven-defying immortal weapon. Humph! You are so arrogant. So it turns out that you have a flying sword. Unfortunately, your realm is too low. Tonight will be the day you die. Ling Tianhai quickly calmed down. His reaction surprised Qin Fen. Looking at Ling Tianhai's appearance, he didn't seem to be afraid of the flying sword. It's not certain who will die. Watch my sword! Ling Tianhai was a true qi expert. Qin Fen didn't waste any words. He waved his hand and struck. The pink light flickered. The speed was so fast that it was shocking. Ling Tianhai stood in place without moving. He watched as the starry sky flying sword was about to pierce through his heart. Suddenly, the ground became empty. The flying sword fell to the ground and exploded, creating a deep pit. Whoosh! The sound of a sword came from behind. Qin Fen quickly turned his body to look. Ling Tianhai was actually standing there. In his hand, there was a short sword flickering with blue light. With a light wave, the light of the sword rose in all directions. Rumble! It was as if the short sword had not completely fallen, but Qin Fen's surroundings were already exploding. Chapter 1039. Bang bang bang! 9 stars had already formed behind Ling Tianhai. They looked like 9 bright stars in the night sky. The short sword in his hand moved faster and faster. The sword qi was sharp and majestic. It was even more powerful than Ling Dozi's last attack. It caused the valley to explode continuously. Qin Feng was trapped in the center of the sword formation. His body was hit by the sword qi from time to time. Fortunately, he was wearing the purple thunder wild robe. Otherwise, he would have been blown to pieces by the explosions. Ha ha! Brat, is that all you've got? I thought you were powerful, but you have a lot of treasures. Purple armor and pink flying sword. I don't even have such a good spiritual weapon. After I kill you and take these 2 treasures, there won't be many people in the inner hidden sect who can be my match. Qin Feng was only at the middle stage of Stage 9 Inner Qi, but he could kill a Stage 9 Inner Qi expert with the Purple Thunder Wild Robe and the Cosmic Flying Sword. If these 2 treasures fell into Ling Tianhai's hands, he would be able to kill a Stage 9 Inner Qi expert in seconds. It was as if there was an earthquake in the valley. Muffled thunder rang out and the valley shook. Ling Tianhai's eyes turned blood red. He stared at the flying sword in Qin Feng's hand impatiently. In a short minute, Qin Feng's body was hit by the sword qi no less than 100 times. Even if the sword qi couldn't penetrate the Purple Thunder Wild Robe, it still caused serious injuries to Qin Feng. Qin Feng was already floating in the air. He didn't even have the chance to breathe. His entire body was in a mess within the sword qi. He couldn't even activate the lightning attribute of the Purple Thunder Wild Robe, let alone use the flying sword to attack Ling Tianhai. The loud noises never stopped. Qin Feng realized that he had underestimated the strength of a Stage 9 Inner Qi expert. Inner Qi and True Qi were 2 large realms. The gap between them was like an insurmountable chasm. Qin Feng could use all kinds of spirit weapons and top-notch techniques to dominate the martial arts world within the Inner Qi stage. However, if he were to use his own strength to fight against someone in the True Qi stage, he was still a bit lacking. However, it was already too late for him to realize this problem. His body was constantly being injured, and it was impossible for him to fight back. His consciousness was weakening rapidly, and he couldn't focus his remaining will. It was very difficult for him to even release Ouyang Feng from his body. 11, 12, 13 stars. The stars behind Ling Tianhai condensed to 13, arranged in a mysterious pattern, like the 13 constellations in the sky. The sword qi in his hand became sharper and sharper, and the violent aura shook the heavens and the earth. The valley was already filled with broken rocks, and all of them were crushed by the sword qi and rolled down the cliff. Bang 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 bang. Qin Feng's body continued to explode. It was as if he had tied a ring of bombs around his waist and detonated them himself. Previously, when he challenged the Divine Dragon at the Divine Dragon Mountain, Qin Feng was beaten to the point of losing his mind. Now, when he faced the True Qi stage expert again, the same situation occurred. In Qin Feng's mind, Little Pig, Ouyang Feng, and Shimin Chui Shui's anxious shouts rang out. However, Qin Feng couldn't hear them clearly. His eyelids drooped, and his body felt incredibly heavy and tired. All he wanted was a good sleep. Rumble! Suddenly, Qin Fen's body emitted a loud noise, even louder than the previous one. Ling Tianhai's eyes were filled with joy. He thought that Qin Fen's body had been completely destroyed, but the purple battle armor was probably ruined as well, which made Ling Tianhai feel a little regretful. Swish! With a light leap, Ling Tianhai arrived beside Qin Fen. He stretched out his hand and snatched the starry sky flying sword that had fallen to the ground. The flying sword, which was shining with a pink light and seemed to have a consciousness of its own, was now completely dull. From the outside, it looked no different from an ordinary weapon. However, Ling Tianhai treated it like a treasure. He held it in his hand and caressed it, as if he had found a treasure in the desert. Eh? Why isn't this flying sword reacting? Why can't I activate it? After studying it for a while, Ling Tianhai frowned. He finally found the problem. The flying sword didn't seem to listen to him. Although Ling Tianhai had heard of the legends of the flying sword, this was the first time he had seen one with his own eyes. He didn't know that the flying sword had already merged with the consciousness of its maker, becoming one with the maker. This starry sky flying sword could only be used by Qin Fen. If anyone else wanted to control the flying sword, they would have to erase the original consciousness of the flying sword. However, this was extremely difficult. Only an expert who had reached half a step into the fairy realm could do it. Motherfucker, this must be your doing. Tell me, how do you use this flying sword? Ling Tianhai had obtained the flying sword, but he couldn't use it. His excitement instantly fell to the bottom of the valley. He raised the blue short sword in his hand and pointed it at Qin Fen. However, his movements suddenly froze. He was instantly dumbfounded by the scene in front of him. Just now, Qin Fen's body emitted a loud noise. Ling Tianhai thought that it was the sound of Qin Fen's dantian exploding. He thought that Qin Fen's cultivation had been crippled. However, at this moment, Qin Fen's body was floating in midair. His body was glowing with a golden light. He was like a golden Buddha descending from the heavens, illuminating half the darkness around him. Qin Fen didn't know what had happened to him. He only felt that his consciousness, which had disappeared, was quickly recovering. He could already communicate with Little Pig using his mind. Little Pig, what's going on? Don't tell me I'm dead? Little Pig's anxious expression changed greatly. Suddenly, it danced excitedly. Master, you're not dead. This is the Vajra esoteric art acting up. Master has already cultivated the Vajra esoteric art to the first stage. Qin Fen suddenly remembered the Vajra esoteric art. It was a supreme cultivation technique that he had obtained a long time ago after drinking the lucky potion. According to the classification of cultivation techniques, the supreme cultivation technique had already reached the peak. It was a godly cultivation technique that was several levels higher than the earth-level martial technique, Wind Blade. However, after obtaining the Vajra esoteric art, Qin Fen realized that he couldn't cultivate it. And now, at this moment of life and death, the Vajra esoteric art actually acted up. I've broken through the first stage of the Vajra esoteric art? What's going on? Qin Fen was full of doubts. Little Pig's excitement couldn't be quelled. It jumped and yelled, Master, the Vajra esoteric art is a passive cultivation technique. It can't be actively cultivated. The only way it can cultivate is by continuously getting beaten up. The more beaten up you are, the faster you can cultivate the Vajra esoteric art. Master has obtained the Vajra esoteric art for more than half a year. In this half a year, Master has been beaten up countless times. The Vajra esoteric art has always been cultivating on its own. The battle just now allowed the Vajra esoteric art to break through to the next stage. Master now has an invincible golden body. No one in the energy stage can kill Master. Little Pig explained a lot. Qin Fen was a bit annoyed. What did it mean by he had been beaten up for more than half a year? However, Qin Fen was already excited. The invincible golden body of the first stage of the Vajra esoteric art sounded awesome. If no one in the energy stage could kill Qin Fen's Vajra esoteric art, then he was completely invincible in the energy stage. What about the energy stage? Can that old man from the Starlight Gate kill me? Qin Fen hurriedly asked. Ling Tianhai is only at the first stage of the inner chi stage. It would be very difficult for him to kill Master's invincible golden body. With the invincible golden body, Master's bones, meridians, and blood have all been greatly transformed. Master is different from before. Even the defensive ability of the Purple Thunder Wild Robe can't compare to Master's invincible golden body. Qin Fen was full of excitement. He had always thought that the Vajra esoteric art was a useless technique. He didn't expect it to be so fierce when it went crazy. Little pig, how many stages are there in the Vajra esoteric art? There are 9 stages in total. Master broke through the first stage of the invincible golden body. If you break through the second stage, you will have the silver blood true body. At that time, no one in the inner chi stage can kill Master. The more Little Pig spoke, the more excited Qin Fen became. He had already prepared himself to be beaten up frequently in the future. Just thinking about it made him feel sick, rumble. Just as Little Pig was about to continue speaking, a violent explosion sounded in Qin Fen's ears. Ling Tianhai had already regained his senses. He realized that something was wrong. He waved his short sword and launched another attack. Bang, bang, bang. A loud explosion sounded, but it didn't hit Qin Fen. Ling Tianhai looked at his left hand with a dumbfounded expression. The flying sword in his hand had disappeared. When Ling Tianhai looked up, he saw a pink light flickering in the pitch-black valley. It was like a meteor falling from the sky. How is this possible? This is impossible! What kind of crooked cultivation method did you practice? Why are you getting stronger the more I hit you? Ling Tianhai was the great elder of one of the hidden 5 hegemons. Even he was stunned by Qin Fen's situation. He couldn't understand it no matter how hard he racked his brain. This Qin Fen was too strange. Xiao! Qin Fen didn't say anything. What answered Ling Tianhai was a flying sword. The speed of the cosmic flying sword was too fast. Even Ling Tianhai couldn't react in time. He quickly dodged to the side, but he still couldn't dodge the flying sword. The flying sword that had pierced his heart directly cut through Ling Tianhai's arm. Poochie! The sound of skin being cut rang out. Ling Tianhai subconsciously looked at his arm. There was a long cut on his arm. Fresh blood gushed out. Ling Tianhai had forgotten how long it had been since he was injured. How long had it been since he saw his own blood? But tonight, he was injured in a fight with a 20-year-old brat. This kind of humiliation made Ling Tianhai completely crazy. He brandished his short sword and chased after Qin Fen. Stinking brat, I'm going to tear you to pieces! His roar was like thunder. Just the violent aura caused the valley to shake. Qin Fen wasn't afraid. He stepped on his flying sword and flew around the valley, looking for an opportunity to attack. Xiao! The sound of wind breaking rang out in the valley again. Ling Tianhai thought it was a flying sword and quickly dodged to the other side. Qin Fen's figure appeared in front of Ling Tianhai. He clapped his hands and several balls of destructive fire appeared. Brat, let's see where you can run now! Ling Tianhai finally saw Qin Fen. Without hesitation, he swung his sword. In an instant, 13 stars condensed behind him. It was as if the entire sky was under his control. This sword drew on the power of the stars. The vast aura was like a tsunami. Qin Fen, who was standing opposite, felt the pressure. Xiao, xiao, xiao! Another sound of wind breaking rang out. Ling Tianhai brandished his short sword. He didn't even try to dodge. He wanted to fight Qin Fen head-on. But before the short sword landed on Qin Fen's head, Ling Tianhai's expression suddenly changed. He realized that the sound of wind breaking coming from Qin Fen was not the flying sword. The flying sword was still under Qin Fen's feet. Poochie! The pink light flashed. A second ago, it was under Qin Fen's feet. The next moment, it pierced through Ling Tianhai's heart from behind. Qin Fen was too late to dodge Ling Tianhai's attack. The majestic sword she covered the sky and the earth. In an instant, Qin Fen was sent flying hundreds of meters away. Rumble! Only then did the sound of explosion come, and it was continuous. Ling Tianhai stood on the ground. His old eyes were filled with shock. Blood gushed out from the corner of his mouth. His chest had long been dyed red with blood. That sword had completely crushed Ling Tianhai's heart. Even if his strength was high, he would have died without a doubt. But Ling Tianhai still could not believe that he, a powerful Jinshi stage cultivator, was killed by a 20-year-old brat. But the moment Ling Tianhai fell to the ground, a sneer appeared on his face. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.